What is up, my friends? We are live for another match day. The Reds taking on Wrexham in New York. The team news, well, the first half team news has dropped. I'm going to take you through it. I mean, the big things we can take away from the news today is obviously no Verts Gravenberch, no shocks there. They're only just come into the camp. Same with Ryan Gravenberch, so didn't expect them to be in. But no Fede Chiesa in the squad, which is an interesting one. I don't really know if or what it means, but he's not there. So we can say that categorically, well, at least according to the team news anyway. Stevie Boy said no Chiesa could be leaving. I don't know. I don't know why he's not there, mate. We were just going through it a moment ago. I mean, let me read through the first half team for you. It's Marmadashvili, Kirkez, Soboslai, Elliot Abe, Leone Chambers, Ramsey Scanlon, Kumas and Ndweke. That is the starting 11. On the bench then, Woodman, Davies, Jones, Costas, Frimpong, McConnell, Morrison, Rio, Ndai, Wright and Sonny Lambie. That is the bench today, as you can see. No Chiesa there. So, I don't know. Take from that what you will. I don't know anything about it, so I haven't got a clue why he isn't there. But I'm excited. It's a late one, of course. Probably one of the latest watch-alongs we've ever done here on the channel. But yeah, I'm excited to see the lads out there again tonight. Let me know what you think as well about the new release of the away shirt today. Lots of division of opinion on the range that goes with it. I love it. It brings me right back to the 90s. So let me know your thoughts on that. And also, how weird is it seeing Liverpool playing on a baseball pitch where the whole pitch just looks weird? And surprised they did maybe look at Fenway. I'm sure there's probably a reason for that, but you would have thought with the Reds going to America, Fenway might have been somewhere where we could have had a pre-season friendly. Shano, how are you, mate? I just seen your comment. Shane said, R.I.P. Glenn Hansard, so tragic. What a singer and songwriter. Falling Slowly is one of the best songs of all time, and his performance of Fairy Tale of New York, Shane McGowan's funeral, was unbelievable. It broke my heart reading that this morning, Shane. My brother-in-law would have played a lot of sessions as he's a musician with Glenn Hansard, and he thought Glenn Hansard went into his college when he was studying music to help them out as well. Just an absolute top guy, and you won't find anyone with a bad word to say about him. And it was absolutely heartbreaking to hear of his passing this morning after a motorcycle accident. Yeah, it knocked me for six earlier on, Shane. So I absolutely echo your sentiment, and a huge loss to Irish music, Irish culture. Some people may know him from Outspan, from The Commitments. That's probably the first introduction I had to Glenn Hansard, and then obviously The Frames and all of his great work for social charity, social justice as well. Just yeah, tragic loss today. This way baseball feel always annoy me when I watch it, the MLS teams playing it. It just looks so weird. You know, the whole angles of the pitch and all, it just looks strange. And I don't know if New York City still play there, but I know when they initially started out in the MLS, they were playing there. It just feels weird looking at it. Boo, as a Yankee fan, I don't want these Red boys gone anywhere near Boston. Well, you would have thought, though, Rook, as the owners, obviously, are the owners of the Red Sox, that perhaps they would have played there, but I'm sure there must have been a reason for it. Joshua, it's your 16th birthday in 26 minutes. Happy birthday, my friend. God, would I give to be back to 16, mate? Although I get myself into too much trouble in this day and age with social media if I was a teenager again. What's your opinion on Scanlon? He was very impressive when he came on in the last game, but, you know, it's pre-season, so I try not to overemphasize my opinions. But he looked bright, he looked good, and it'll be interesting to have another look at him today. Obviously, Kumas as well, another really interesting one to have a look at. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the story is with Chiesa, if it's a fitness thing, if it's maybe a sale. I really don't know. I'd be just guessing at this point. Prodshore said, yo Craig, turned 21 last week. Much love to you, bro. Been watching Agenda for years. Thank you and happy birthday, man. 21, another milestone birthday. Congratulations to you, and thank you, of course, for your support of the channel as well. Do I think Gakpo leaves is a question I see in the chat there from Niaro. It's possible, but I couldn't say one way or the other. Look, if Spurs are interested and Liverpool even enter into a negotiation, you would have to think it's because we think we're going to be able to fill the void that would be left by Gakpo. And in that sense, you're thinking Barcola and Rayan. But at this moment in time, I really don't know what happens. But what I do know is we can't be clearing out wingers before we start stocking back up again. So if there is a move for Cody, and I have to say if because I really don't know, it would probably be later in the window. Although we are about to enter into the last month of the window now in the next couple of days. I thought there'd be bigger names in the squad tonight. No, the lads only came back 2 or 3 days ago and they're playing catch up. You'll probably see a few more names come in for the game against Leeds on Sunday. But, you know, the lads that are coming back in, Gakpo, Van Dijk, Wirtz, Gravenberch, Isak, I think, you know, they're still making their way back to fitness. Well, actually, some of them aren't even over there. Some of them, I think, are still back at the AXA. But, yeah, look, it is what it is. You know, we have who we have. It's an exciting opportunity for some of the young guys to make a name or put themselves in the manager's thinking. And, you know, this is our best guess at the way we're lining up, by the way, with the 11 you see on the screen. It is confirmed, but the actual positions is our best guess at it. So we think it's going to be Ramsey at right back, Kirkes at left back, Chambers and Ndweke, we think, will be the 2 centre-backs. Nioni, Szoboszlai and Elliott in midfield, with Scanlon, Abe and Kumas the front 3. Of course, we'll let you know more as and when we do. The only way I think we sell Gakpo is because we need the money for Barcola or Rayan. It would have to be the Rayan part. You know, I know Barcola would probably be a more left-sided player, but from the financial perspective, I would have to imagine it would be because we'd be interested in Rayan. You know, it wouldn't really feel like we've completed our business if we brought in Barcola and sold Gakpo. Now, it would still be an upgrade, in my opinion, but it would still leave a short one more wide player, and I think we have to get that sorted as well, if, of course, Cody leaves. But at this moment in time, there's no indication that a move for Cody is imminent. I know Romano said keep an eye on the situation with Spurs, so that's exactly what we'll do. Will Wirtz and Isak have a chance to play tonight? No, they're not in the squad. Again, I'll read you out the bench as well as the 11 so you can see all the players that are available tonight. So this is the 11 and then the bench after it. So it's Mamardashvili, Kirkes, Szoboszlai, Elliott, Abe, Nioni, Chambers, Ramsey, Scanlon, Kumas and Ndweke. That's the 11 that starts. Then on the bench, we've got Woodman, Davies, Jones, Costas, Frimpong, McConnell, Morrison, Ngamoa, and Dye, Wright and Sonny Lambie. So they're the lads who are available to play today. Some like Fernandez Pardo, could be interesting alongside Barcola if Gakpo goes. Yeah, look, Rayan's the dream, but like I said, we'll wait and see how this all pans out. Interesting to see what level we go in at for Barcola, though. Lots of people seem to be speculating in and around 100 million base fee in pounds, maybe add-ons going up a bit more. But I read a couple of things that I wanted to draw your attention to, folks. I read this earlier on. Which one to start with? So let's start with this one. Let's start with Adidas for a second. One sec. So, as you know, Liverpool are into the second year now of their partnership with Adidas. But I read something earlier on in an article on The Echo talking about quite how successful this partnership has been so far. So let me read you out a quick paragraph from it. It said, the partnership began in record-breaking fashion in August of 2025 with last season's shirt proving to be the most successful in the club's history. Now, here's the kicker. The last year with Nike, 24-25, Liverpool beat the shirt sales for that last year by 700%. So every one of the Nike shirts that was sold in the last year, 7 of the Adidas shirts, 7 flashbacks, 7 of them were sold. That is nuts. And it shows you quite how popular the 3 stripes are with Liverpool fans. So I was reading an article as well talking about the price of Bradley Barcola. And this is why I think we have to be a little bit careful. So PSG are perfectly within their rights to set their own price tag for their player. He's their player. They can ask what they want. Now, it doesn't mean that Liverpool will pay it, but to give you some indication of how much inflation we've seen in 12 months, I was reading this earlier on from Paul Joyce in The Times, and it said, Liverpool were in discussions for Barcola last summer for about £75 million, but chose not to press ahead with the deal as they didn't want to block the progress of the young winger Rio Ngamoa. The departure of club legend Salah, however, has opened up a pathway for Barcola, and then they go on to talk about the likelihood of Barcola joining. So you can see there in 1 year, Barcola's price has gone from a £75 million negotiation up to what they want, a £145 million negotiation. So this is what I keep saying to people. We can't just wait around and think next year is going to be any different. Yes, for Barcola, contractually now is the right time. But transfer fees are only going one way, and that's up. And the longer that Liverpool sit around year after year not doing the business we should, the more expensive it gets down the line. And you can see that in the absolutely astronomical valuation difference between this year and last year for Bradley Barcola. But here's an interesting one as well. Paris Saint-Germain, as we know, are after Monaco's Magnus Akliouche. Liverpool keeping an eye on it. But PSG have had their fourth offer rejected from Monaco. The report in L'Equipe said that they offered £38.5 million, but they want about £50 to £60 million. So still quite a way off there. It also said Liverpool are reportedly interested in the attacking midfielder, though it is understood he prepares a move to the Parc des Princes as a destination, as we've said all the way through. So I don't know why PSG are lowballing so much for a player if that's their fourth bid. And they're still no closer to getting it done. He wants to go to them. They obviously want him, but they don't seem to want to pay what Monaco want. That meme guy said, it's ridiculous, winger market and Premier League is a cause of the inflated pricing. Well, yes, the money's in the Prem and we can't throw our hands up in the air and say that we're not part of the problem. We are, you're right. And the money that we paid last year certainly, put us into that bracket now of clubs that have added into this. Right, Jack, how are you, bro? What did you make of Mayo winning the All-Ireland? Love the channel. Oh, you'd want to be made of stone, Jack, not to be happy for the good people of Mayo. 75 years without a Sam Maguire, and fair play. I know Shano in the chat there is a Kerry man through and through, and he was obviously saddened, but yeah, you'd want to be made of stone not to be happy for the people of Mayo after a 75-year wait. So fair play to them, and I hope they enjoy every minute of it. Opinions on the Henderson to Chelsea. Much love, Craig. So apparently we were offered, at least a report I read today. I didn't get information about this myself, but I read a report today that said that Liverpool were offered the opportunity to bring Jordan Henderson back. I think he had a clause in his Brentford deal which means he could leave for free after a year. So we chose obviously not to look at it as an option for us, and Chelsea and Xabi Alonso thought very differently, and he's now going to be a Chelsea player signing a 2-year contract. And what do I think of it? I mean, look, to me, when you look at the two clubs, they couldn't be any starker in their differences for what they stand for and the people. And not say one good, one bad, but very different, very stark differences in the two clubs. So I don't really have too strong an opinion on it. It is what it is. While Jordan was here, he was an incredible captain. I'll never, ever deny that. But, it's just weird. It feels weird. It just does. Thank you, Free Fire. Appreciate you. What would I think about Savinho from City? That it's absolutely impossible. And I know I sound rude sometimes when I give a quick answer like that, but they won't sell to us. And we've tried before. We tried to get Julian Alvarez before he moved to Atletico Madrid, because at the time, I think it was Sam Maguire broke the story, if I'm not mistaken, of Anfield Watch. At the time, Liverpool were open to selling Diaz to Manchester City, and Diaz was open to the deal. But in those negotiations, Liverpool floated the idea of us trying to sign Alvarez, who they were open to selling, but just not to us. So there's no point in us talking about City players because they won't sell to us. What happened to the kid Malik Fofana? I think he went to the Saudi Pro League. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I think he went to the Saudi Pro League, but I might be thinking of a different guy, mate. Daniel said, I'm liking the squad changes, seeing youth play. Well, not really have a choice other than to play the youth. But as I said many times, this pre-season, the lads aren't going to get much better of an opportunity to put themselves in the gaffer's thinking. They have a head start on everybody else. They have a chance to win the manager over. And I'm sure he's looking at the likes of Kumas, Nioni, Scanlon maybe, Ramsey, and thinking maybe some of these guys are worth keeping around for the season. So yeah, big chance for the youngsters. My girlfriend recently left me. You've helped me so much. I'm terribly sorry to hear that, Kane. And yeah, it's look, heartbreak's tough. There's no denying it, dude. So I hope you're okay. And I'm sure that there are plenty more fish in the sea. But you don't want to hear that from me right now, understandably. So all I'll say to you, my friend, is I hope you're okay. thank you for dropping in. We appreciate your support and an incredible 30 months with us as a member as well, Kane. So sending you love, my friend. He's still at Leon, is he? Oh, sorry, I'm getting confused. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, you're right. I'm getting confused. I was thinking of a different guy, but you're right. Yes, Malik Fafana is, of course, still at Leon. Thank you. I don't know if we need to give the youth a chance, but we surely want to prep as much of the first team as possible. But the first team are coming back later. So this isn't some, master plan to just give the kids a chance. It's because a lot of the guys are coming back from the World Cup. So the ones that you see in the squad there tonight and the ones that were there for the first game didn't go to the World Cup. The likes of obviously Soboslai, Curtis Jones, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong, players like that weren't at the World Cup for various reasons, whether their country didn't qualify or they weren't picked. So that's why they're there versus the lads that are now coming back in staggered increments that were at the World Cup. So obviously the German, the Dutch and the Swedish lads, they'll be back a little bit earlier than the likes of Maka and Victor Munoz, who'll be coming back pretty late. Would I take Matoma? No, I wouldn't. Remember, they turned down, I think, what was it, 80 million quid for Matoma? So you're talking an astronomical price for somebody who I think is about 27 or 28. So no for me on Matoma. Look, I'm really picky when it comes to players I want at Liverpool and players that I think can take us on to the next level. And I don't think Matoma is that guy. And we need young legs in Iriola's system. So I think he's a good player, but just no for me on that one. The shirt's looking fantastic. Thank you. I forgot I had it in the wardrobe, and that's the honest answer. I was rooting around for something to wear because I jumped out of the shower. I had a shower before the watch along, and I just jumped in. I was like going through my wardrobe, and I forgot I had that. So yeah, I had to give it a bash. Craig, you heard the news about Krupi definitely not leaving. Feel bad for him. Yeah, he's broke his metatarsal. I think he's had an operation and 3 to 4 months out for Eli Junior Krupi. Look, he'll still have a big move. Whether it's January or whether it's at the end of the season. The likes of Spurs, Paris Saint-Germain, and many other top clubs. Barcelona, I think we're looking at him as well. So it's not a huge injury. I like to call it the Wayne Rooney injury. It's the metatarsal bone, but yeah. Chiesa is ill, by the way. So Chiesa is ill. He's not unfit. He's not injured. Apparently, he's ill. Now, when I hear this in pre-season, I can't be the only one that at least thinks, is he? Is he? I guess we'll see, won't we, soon enough. But yeah, the line from the club anyway is that Chiesa is ill. So we'll go with that one. Lewis Steele reports Federico Chiesa misses out with illness. Iriola said Isak, Wirtz, Grafenberg and Xhaka could be involved against Leeds as well, reiterating how thin we are at centre-back. And I hope you're listening, Messrs Hughes, Messrs Henry, Messrs Werner, Messrs Hogan. The manager saying we are short at centre-back, we're short of wingers. And, well, TikTok, season's getting started in 3 weeks. Where am I? This one. Kane, you can have mine. Stay strong, bro, said Jason. So there you go. Jason very kindly offering up his misses there. I'm staying out of it, mate. I'm staying out of it. Jack, hey, Craig. I know you said it yesterday, but love you. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you. Yeah, look, I've got to have a little vent, if I might, for a second. I know we all have our own issues in our own countries and stuff like that, but something that happened yesterday really wound me up as a parent. So my daughter yesterday fainted, and she went to our local doctor or GP or primary care physician, whatever it's called in the country you're in yourselves, but she went to her local doctor, and the local doctor wanted her to go down to A&E, because accident and emergency, or the ER room, because she wanted to get tests done. So gave her a letter, and off my daughter popped to the hospital. 11 and a half hours later, out of sheer tiredness, fatigue, and the fact that she hadn't got so much as a paracetamol, she left the hospital. And it really fucking wound me up as a parent to see that that's where my country's gotten to. Because I know her experience isn't an isolated one. It's just not good enough. It's just not good enough that people are being sent down to hospitals like that. Whether it's my child or somebody else's child, it doesn't really matter. And they're there 11 and a half hours. You know, they told her they were going to check her. They told her that they were going to admit her to the hospital because they wanted to do certain tests. And then they said, we'll be back with some paracetamol for your concussion and a couple of other bits. Wait there in the hall. 4 hours later, nobody came near her and she was still sitting in the hall after her boyfriend had gone home because they told her she was being admitted. So she ended up just getting up out of sheer tiredness and frustration and gone back home. And it's an absolute disgrace. So I just wanted to get that off my chest because I'm sad where our country's gotten to in that regard. And I know that isn't an isolated experience. I know people will have their own stories from Dublin and Galway and Cork and all around the country. What if it was life-threatening? I don't know what to say. Like, they did some tests. They didn't give her any results of any of the tests and just told her they had to admit her because they wanted to do some more tests and then just disappeared. And fair to say, myself and my wife were fairly frustrated by it, but we know she's not in isolation. I'm not trying to say we're the hard done by ones. This is just the state of the country at the minute, and it's incredibly sad to see, especially when, as a business, you see the tax man coming in to take huge sums of money out, and you think, where the fuck does all this go? You know, just not good enough. And as I said, I'm not saying this is a me thing, but I just had to get that off my chest because it was bugging me all day. Craig, guess where I am? It's a sea of red in New York City. Nice. Enjoy, Jaden. And it's lovely to see the Reds in there now, getting ready for the game. And fingers crossed, it's an exciting one, and hopefully no injuries anyway. Touch wood, that's the first thing. Phil said Virgil van Dijk's last season, will miss him. Well, I think you're probably right. Contractually, it certainly is his last season, but, you know, we'll wait and see how the season goes, my man. Yeah, I don't even want to think about saying goodbye to him or potentially saying goodbye to Alisson just yet because I'm still getting over saying goodbye to Robbo and Salah. Craig, are we wearing that beautiful away shirt? I believe so, yes. And interestingly, the club are selling both the red and white shorts to go with the kit. So it must depend on what colour the opposition kit is because Liverpool have the red and the white shorts available for the new away kit. The new goalkeeper's kit's actually lovely, the away one, if you haven't seen it. It's like a kind of purpley colour. Elks. How are you, Craig? Have my pool TV set up ready. Oh, nice. Nice. Well in. I'm good, thank you, Elks, mate. Yeah, I'm good. Can't really complain. A little bit tired because, as I said, it was a very long night and we were still up at about 7 a.m. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. Looking forward to the game as a distraction tonight, and then we're out for a family meal tomorrow. About to call out from work, but no Isak or Verts. But they were never going to be in tonight, Dowd, mate. They were never going to be part of the setup for tonight. It's the next game that they'll probably get some minutes in because I think they only got back into Chicago 3 days ago, maybe something like that. Phil said a new season ahead will be weird without Salah. Oh, it definitely will, mate. It definitely will. Like, it still takes some getting used to even read the stories about Salah and Fenerbahce or Besiktas or any of the Turkish club. Like, it just feels weird hearing people talking about Salah's next move, and it felt equally as weird seeing highlights of Robbo in a Spurs kit as well. Alex said, can I watch the game on LFC TV? Well, that's what I'm watching it on. Alex, now, obviously, I don't know exactly where in the world you're located, my friend, but I'm watching it on LFC TV anyway on the Sky platform. Jack, thank you, mate, for gifting a membership. Very kind of you. That meme guy said, Craig, Liverpool should bid for Barcola now and then Paris Saint-Germain get the Barcola money and they can get Akliouche. It's all wins for everybody, but Liverpool would rather be dictated by PSG. It's weird, though, because it's not like PSG are short of money. Like, we know that they have the money to sign Akliouche. They just must be extremely vigilant at this point, I guess, in what they want to spend or what they don't want to spend. But, you know, loads of reports out there today to suggest that Liverpool were right on the edge of putting an offer in. It may have already gone in by now because often as we see these reports, they're always a a day or two behind the actual chain of events. So we'll wait and see what happens with it all. Sky, Craig's got a dodgy box. I absolutely don't. I can fucking, if you've seen the Sky bills, mate, and the amount they come out, I absolutely don't have a dodgy box. And because I couldn't use one either. Like, they'd be so far behind, the stream would be an absolute nightmare. I can very much guarantee you that we pay ridiculous money. I mean, my Sky bill's about 200 quid a month, and that's before you take into account some of the other add-ons as well. So, yeah, no dodgy boxes here, my friend. And I've, in a matter of principle as well, like, this is a business, so I feel a duty to pay for these things because, you know, this is a job for me, and I don't want to be ripping off companies either. So as a matter of principle, I feel like if I'm using something and I can afford it, I'll pay for it. And also, like, I've seen a few of those over the years, and they're just so unstable for me that it just wouldn't be my cup of tea at all. Like, even to watch boxing or at it would frustrate me. Underarm forehair said Robbo doesn't look right in Spurs shirt, but scored. He doesn't. You're right, but then again, we're gonna say that, aren't we? Like, we love seeing him in a Liverpool shirt. Yeah, it feels. What makes it really hard, actually, underarm forehair for me to get my head around it is we said goodbye to Robbo to welcome back in a worse player in Costas, and that's the part that just doesn't sit right with me as a fan. That we've downgraded ourselves in that position. My All Red full membership came Tuesday. The voucher code that came with it is invalid. Tried to chat with them, but they close at noon time in the USA. Chatted today with no resolution 12 hours later. That's weird. I know, and look, I haven't used All Red this season, but I know a lot of people the other night had big issues with it. Yeah. I remember in the last watch along, loads of people were in the chat saying they couldn't log into it, they couldn't log onto it. So I hope you can find a way to watch the game, my man. But yeah, that's not great, is it? Especially when you've spent your money, like. Mash Blends said, at the game, excited for the youngsters. Nice. Enjoy, my friend, enjoy. Make sure you sing and make plenty of noise as well in there. But yeah, I hope you have a great night. Claudia said, I will never get over Alisson if he leaves. I'm with you. I'm with you. He's the best goalkeeper of my lifetime in a Liverpool shirt. So I'm with you, Claudia. It'll take some getting over to say bye-bye to him. Jaden said, we heard that before, Fede may actually be going. This is what I'm saying, Jaden. Like, there's been years gone by where this line has come out and it ends up that it's basically just nonsense and that somebody's leaving. But, you know, we'll just take it at face value for now and we'll see what happens. I have no idea about a move for Chiesa. I have no information on it, so I'm just going to take it at face value that he's ill. Jerome said, R.I.P. Glenn Hansard. Absolutely. Like, I know we throw around the words legend and all that kind of stuff, but in Ireland, to us, as you know yourself, the man was just a good skin, as we'd say. You read any comment section after his passing today, and you will see nothing but love and positivity and kind words said about Glenn. He was a true Irish troubadour and an absolute legend. And yeah, it was so heartbreaking to hear of him dying in a motorcycle accident this morning. This thing behind me, the logo, my brother-in-law painted for me. My brother-in-law is a musician and he's played with Glenn Hansard a lot of times, and we were only speaking about him when he was down painting this and talking about what a wonderful fella he was, and how he's helpful to so many people coming through in the music industry and works tirelessly for social justice and does the gig every year on Grafton Street as well for the Simon community. Heartbreaking. And a 3-year-old son as well and a wife left behind. It's just so tragic, man. It's so sad, and I know the whole country is an outpouring of emotion and love to Glenn Hansard's family. Absolute devastating news today that nobody wanted to wake up to. Stevie Boy said, any defenders coming in this transfer window? Well, I'd hope so. And the manager's made a point tonight as well, Stevie Boy, of saying that we're still short of centre back. So you'd have to think yes. We'd be absolute lunatics to go into the season without adding in a centre back and maybe a right back. But I don't know what to say anymore, Stevie Boy, because here we are now, mate. We're about to go into August. And we were told all the way back in June that Liverpool didn't want the saga around the winger position for Diamonde at the time. And yeah, here we are. And this one's probably going to go late into the window as well. The deal for Barcola. So the whole thing, all this bullshit and all this lies about Liverpool having everything ready to go at the end of the season. Again, I don't know why the journalists do it sometimes, why they put themselves in these positions, but um, it's been a shit show of a window so far again. And I know that people are trying to say Liverpool have spent 100 million this window. Fuck right off. No, we haven't. They agreed the deal for Xhaka in January. You're not pawning that off as this summer signing just because you didn't bring in Mark A and then you let Canade go. The whole thing is, again, not good enough. But what can we do, you know? This is the reality of where we're at the minute, and I just hope that it gets sorted out. You know, the good news from today was that investment group, Bloomberg, I don't know if you guys seen this, but Bloomberg put out a story, and, you know, Bloomberg, obviously a very, very credible institution. They put out a story to say that the crowd that are looking to buy at the moment, a minority stake, have visions of, what's the phrase I'm looking for? They have ambitions to have a controlling stake in the football club. So buying bit by bit by bit. So it looks like the idea here is a minority investment as a strategic investment and then a controlling interest over the course of time. So, you know, we'll see what the future holds for us. But now this is what we have every summer except last summer. Frustration, broken promises, journalists not doing their job and calling it out, and us fans getting angry with each other because the club aren't getting their finger out. I told you they're selling the team, but they're not selling the team. Like, this is the ambition for the buyers. And look, it might happen, but it's not set in stone yet. I think you're right, by the way, for what it's worth. But we can only deal in what we know at the minute. And all we know at the minute is that those conversations are taking place about what would be an initial minority stake. Oh, there's two people I know. I'm seeing somebody being interviewed now, and I actually know her, Amy. She's from Cali. I think it's South California Reds, if I'm not mistaken, which is class. That was weird. Sorry, just looked up and seen somebody I knew there getting interviewed on LFC TV. Daniel said, hope your daughter is okay. Not long ago, I had to watch my granny die in pain due to a hospital mistake. Put her in palliative care, which was starving her. Our family have had some issues as well. Like when my wife gave birth to her daughter, they went against all the medical protocols for what was supposed to happen and how my wife was supposed to give birth. And she ended up with a sprained pelvis and she couldn't get out of the bed for 6 weeks after she gave birth to her daughter. And that was because, again, they didn't listen to what they were told to do by the doctors and nurses. So, yeah. Yesterday was just a stark reminder, Daniel, for me about why I'm so pissed off in this country, because we pay through the nose for everything. You know, housing's ridiculously expensive, food's expensive, cars are expensive, insurance is expensive, and we get nothing back for it. And it's why I have visions of getting over to Spain in the future and moving and living over there, because this country's just, the people are amazing. I love my fellow countrymen and women. Brilliant. But it's been run into the ground, and it's not sustainable. It just isn't. And I'm terribly sorry, by the way, about your granny as well, Daniel. You shouldn't have had to go through that, nor should she, of course. Carbon said, hey Craig, hope all is well with your daughter and she's great. I know you don't like this guy, but good for depth, and he's only 50 million. I think he can get a job, and that person is Liao. He wouldn't do a job though, and that's the whole point of it. He wouldn't do what needs to be done. He wouldn't do the hard yards. He wouldn't close down. He wouldn't track back. He wouldn't press. And I think Ruben Amorim wants him to stay as well. I was reading something earlier on yesterday, actually, that Amorim wants him to stay there at AC Milan. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I absolutely don't want him at Liverpool, We'd be screaming at him. We'd be frustrated because he just doesn't do what we need to be done off the ball. Who's my favourite boxer right now? Well, we're going up to watch Pierce O'Leary fighting on Saturday up in Dublin. He's fighting Chamberlain to defend his IBO belt. And, excuse me, really looking forward to that one because it's been a while since I've been to a boxing show. It's been a few months, so really looking forward to that. Who would I say is my favourite right now? Well, look, it has been Usyk over the last few years, but Moses Atauma is just an incredible talent, and I can't wait to see what he goes on to do. But from the Irish perspective, Pierce O'Leary's he's making a great name for himself as well, big bang. So hopefully he can go on to major honours as well. Who would I say my favourite though? Because if you're looking around, like a lot of them are kind of coming to the end, aren't they? Like even or I was going to say Isak. Even Usyk has one more fight before he's gone to retire. And then looking around, you obviously have another huge retirement as well. Canelo's getting to the end of his. I don't know who I'd say would be my favourite. Crawford would have been, but again, he's retired after he beat Canelo. Maybe... Jesse Bam Rodriguez, maybe, or I'm just trying to think who else is coming up that excites me as a fighter. A lot of the ones that I've followed for years are all coming to the end. Like Katie Taylor, she's having her Bow Wow fight at Croke Park. We already talked about Alexander Usyk. He's again coming to the end. Joshua, Fury, both coming to the end. So yeah, it's probably a Tauma, but I do. I think Gary Cully's actually fighting on this card at the weekend, the lad from Ireland, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's on the undercard of this one. Yeah, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, like I said, love watching him fight as well. They're probably the ones for me at the minute. Keane said Boots Ennis for him, Jarrell Boots Ennis. As a paramedic, we're short-staffed and working on low budgets, and that silly person in the chat blaming immigration, know your facts. Well, I have to bite my lip a little bit here. Nothing to do with immigration, by the way. I agree with you on that. It's not where this conversation was going from my perspective, but I just find it difficult to take, David, because I remember going to A&E. I remember being there with my father like 15, 20, 25 years ago, and you would be seen a lot quicker. And now, unfortunately, because of a lack of funding, like you've said, it's just not right. Nobody that lives in this country or in any country should have to wait around that long for basic healthcare. It's a piss take. And like I said, I don't want to show you the number, but when I see the tax man coming into our company account to take out a significant amount of money every month, and I mean a really good quality used car every month, and then your daughter's getting left for 11 and a half hours in A&E, it just leaves a sour taste, mate. It just does. I can't say anything else. How likely this investment will happen? Keep up the good work. Well, look, I don't know from a financial standpoint much about it, but those who are talking about it seem to think it's very credible. What the level is going to be, I mean, The Athletic were reporting somewhere maybe 8 to 10%, then others are reporting up to 30%. So I don't know. It'll come down to evaluation and, both sides seeing value in it, but it's certainly very, very possible, but still at an early enough stage. Upside Down said, I have a feeling Mo still hopes he can come back. He'll be dithering about joining a new club. Contracts have not been signed and it's getting late. He won't be coming back. He won't be coming back, mate, for various reasons. But I guess the problem for us fans is, again, why do we just rip it up before Atom was sorted and let him go? And now we're scraping around trying to find somebody when he had another year left on his contract. And the club made that decision. And I'm sure that they're happy to save the money they save every month from his, 1.6 million a month. And then Robbo's what is it, probably 650 a month, and then Canade's wages every month, and they haven't replaced them. So this is what I'm saying. Like, it's just, again, cheaping out from our owners, and it hasn't been good enough. We're still underutilized and underprepared for the season ahead, and here we are now about to go into August. Padge, Craig, my only worry about not pushing Rayan now means we end up in a bidding war again in 12 months with 5 or 6 clubs. We're linked with Barcola and Diamonde last summer, no action, and now there are 100 million more. I don't know with any level of conviction that it's categorically next summer. Like, from my understanding, we're looking at him for this summer. Now, I know the RTK Space account said 2027, but it might come down to what happens with Gakpo. And of course, you have to have a willing seller as well. And I've no idea how Bournemouth feel in all of this. So let's just wait and see how it pans out. But you are right. If it's possible, do it now. Do it as soon as we can. Because every game, every month, every season these lads play together, that continuity is important. So I'm with you. Pads, the earlier the better. David, I understand that nobody should wait 11 hours. But yeah, as I said, these are emotive topics, David, some of the time. So I just had to vent a little bit today because it was frustrating. But of course, I completely understand. It's not down to the staff. You know, they're stretched thin. They can only do what they can do. You know, it's not that people don't care. I don't for one second think that the staff working in the hospitals don't care. They're all very good people. Just one of them things at the minute, isn't it, where we are? Is Ahmed Batia a Liverpool fan? Haven't got a clue. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know too much about him, other than he's the son-in-law of the Mittal guy that owns a huge steel company in India or something. I don't know, but I seen something the other day to the net worth of the people involved is in the hundreds of billions if you were to throw Jeff Bezos, Eduardo Saverin, and these guys into the mix. Hey Craig, hope all is well. It's 1 a.m. and I'm staying strong. Cannot wait to see my first Liverpool game under Andoni. Nice. The first one was interesting. I really enjoyed the first one. But again, tonight, another game along. It'll be interesting to see if we notice any more changes or tweaks to the way that we're set up. Am I going to watch Bray Wanderers versus Kerry on Friday night? No, I'll be working. I'm not here tomorrow night for a stream. We're out for a family meal. So I'll be doing a video tomorrow at 5 and a video at 10. Then I'll be back working Friday night. And then at Saturday, we're up in Dublin at the boxing. When will Liverpool's main players play in pre-season? Well, some of them are already here. You know, it depends when their country was knocked out of the World Cup, basically. So the earlier the country was knocked out, the earlier they'll be back. So the likes of Wirtz, Gravenberch and Isak, they should be available for the next game. And then after that, it'll be in staggered increments of people coming back. Foxy, off to bed. Good night, mate. Have a good one. Harry said excited to see Abe tonight. Yeah, excited, definitely. I mean, let's have a look through the starting 11 for the first half anyway. And we'll take a look at it. So Georgie in goal, Ramsey at right back. It'll be interesting to get a look at him. I thought Kirkes was really promising and really aggressive in the way he played the left back position in the last one. Then moving into midfield, of course, you see Trey Neone again. It's always lovely to have a look at him. Dominic Soboslai back in his midfield position. Scanlon, Elliott, Joshua Abe and Kumas. And again, Kumas had a good showing in the last game as well. So interesting stuff. And yeah, look, fingers crossed we get the job done. I don't really mind as long as nobody picks up an injury, to be fair. You know, it is pre-season, so the results aren't all that important. Oh, there's John Oliver, actually, with the lads in New York. What a lad. What a man. John Oliver's absolutely brilliant. I don't know who hurt this lad, mate. Whoever hurt you, just tell us and we'll help you out. Do you know what I mean? Whatever made you so bitter and just weird, just tell us, like, you know, we're here to help, bro. And United isn't really the flex that you think it is, dude. You know, it's not like you've been a fantastic side in recent years, but you're just making your own fan base look like a dickhead, bro. But you know, that's your choice, isn't it? Do you expect to win a trophy this season under a new manager? I mean, I wouldn't say expect. Expect would be a little bit much, but just hope for the best. You know, you never really know what to expect because we don't know what other clubs are doing in the market. We don't know the impact of some of the new managers coming into the league. Obviously, one for us. Then you've got Alonso with Chelsea. You've got Carrick in his first full season there with United. Then obviously you've got Maresca going into Man City. You've got Marco Rose going into Bournemouth. You've got new manager going into Fulham. So lots of change around in the league as well, and it's difficult. Obviously, De Zerbi and Spurs spend a lot of money as well, so it'll be an interesting one. Lots of change in the league, so I really don't know what to expect. You know, I think I've said this previously, but I'd like us to be peaking in the latter part of these competitions. So I've no doubt we'll get out of the league format of the Champions League. So I'd like us to be, you know, any teething issues to be ironed out by the time we get to January, February, and the latter part of the cup competitions as well. So maybe you can come on strong and win one of those. B2E, how are you, my friend? Craig, was at Ashton Gate Stadium watching Bristol City destroy Newcastle 4-1. They looked so poor, even for a friendly. Thanks for everything that you do. It's going to be a really tough season ahead again for Eddie Howe and that Newcastle team. You know, I don't know what happens with Bruno Guimaraes. I know apparently he's not pushing for the move to Arsenal, but he's open to it. Losing to Nally. I'd seen the result, but I hadn't seen any of the game. But it is only pre-season. But you know, as you said, you were there looking at them, and they didn't look great. So again, Newcastle fans have had it tough over the last 12 months with the amount of players that have left. Can someone tell me why Wirtz isn't playing? Yeah, because he only got back to pre-season 3 days ago and will only be starting training and doing his fitness tests and catching up. So that's why he's not playing. That's why Gravenberch isn't playing. That's why Gakpo isn't playing. That's why Van Dijk isn't playing. That's why Isak isn't playing. Three of those guys should be involved in the next game. And hopefully as well we see Xhaka for the game against Leeds on Sunday. Has Barcola officially signed for Liverpool? Well, instead of asking us that question, Jack, would you not go onto the club's official site and see if you see an unveiling of Barcola signing for Liverpool? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry to be that guy, but if he signed for Liverpool Football Club, you'd know he'd signed for Liverpool Football Club because it would be everywhere and we'd be talking about it and we'd be putting up images and be on the club website and it would be everywhere. So no, and don't expect it to happen in the next couple of days either. It's most likely going to drag on a bit, unfortunately, because of the gap in valuations between the two sides. And I'm sorry if that sounds really harsh, but I'm just fucked off with it at this point. All of it, the way the club operate in the transfer market, it's never good enough. I know it's just AI, but I saw the Empire State Building and the colours of Liverpool. It looked fantastic. Am I buying the new away shirt? No, I bought a hoodie, the white hoodie today because white isn't usually chunky friendly. So no, I won't be getting the white one. I don't actually have either of the two shirts that have been released so far this season. Might look at the third one when it comes out, but yeah, not for me at this moment in time. But it looks lovely. It's just white isn't my colour really. Is LFC FCTV worth it if you don't mind me asking? Um, I think for pre-season, certainly the answer I'd say would be yes. After that, you know, you'll see some of the younger players on there and the underage teams. It depends what you're into, really, for content-wise. I probably wouldn't keep up my LFC TV subscription throughout the year, if I'm being honest, because I wouldn't really pay much attention to it. I usually only get it for pre-season. So for me, it's worth it for pre-season, but after that, I wouldn't be somebody who'd be keeping up my subscription. Connor said it wasn't AI, it was real. So there you go. Boom. So yeah, Liverpool had a big snazzy unveiling yesterday. in some gallery or something in New York for the away kit. There was a really cool, like, old-fashioned white car as well with the Liverpool logo and stuff on it. It looked really cool. Craig, could you go to the bench? Yeah, certainly, no problem, my man. Give me 2 seconds. So, the Liverpool bench for this one, and notable names that aren't on it, is obviously Fede Chiesa isn't there, Joe Gomez isn't there. But the bench tonight is Woodman, Davies, Jones, Costas, Frimpong, McConnell, Morrison, Rio, Ndai, Wright and Sonny Lambie. That's the Liverpool bench for today. We'll agree a price for PSG and City will hijack the deal because we faffed and faffed about. I don't think they will, to be honest with you. I think Barcola and Liverpool go back quite a way with this kind of flirting and negotiation, but I can't stand up for the club and I can't push back against the fact that we're faffing about. But we do this every year and it's tiring at this point, you know, because we knew what we needed. We were all told at the end of the season what we needed. And here we are with one new signing in the door and the one we agreed in January, which just isn't good enough. It isn't. We're 3 weeks away from the season getting underway. Luke said, subscribe for pre-season and then get rid of. That's pretty much what I do, yeah. You know, other than that, though, I want to listen to Neil Atkinson on there and all the others. No, I couldn't be bothered listening to them, quite frankly. So, yeah, I'll stick to it for pre-season so I can watch the games and then I'll be back to cancel the subscription. Crazy, my LFC TV doesn't allow me to watch the preseason games in America. If I remember correctly, I think they're on ESPN Deportes and ESPN Plus or something like that in the States. Now, I'm working off memory, so apologies if I'm wrong on that one. Craig, do you know why Virg and Cody are staying at the AXA and Grav joined the squad in the USA? I think with Virgil, he got an extended break, if I'm not mistaken. And Cody, again, obviously, what happened with I don't even want to talk about what happened with Cody over the last few weeks. Yeah, I think he just wanted a bit more time as well, and they're working on individual programs and stuff like that. So, look, you'd have to just say that hopefully the club know what they're doing, and you know, hopefully they're all ready to go for the start of the season. Brian, how are you? I was only thinking about you earlier on, my man. Great to see you, my friend, especially in the new beautiful digs. Love to your family, and same to you, my friend. Same to you. Obviously in New York, your neck of the woods, Brian. I know you're a Bostonian these days, but yeah, it's nice to. I love pre-season tours for the Reds, and fans get to go and meet up and chat with Fowler and the lads. It's good. So lovely to see you win, and I hope everything is good, my man. And of course, give my best to Laurie and Vern as well. What is it? I don't know what this lad's going on about with the change the www to www. I have no idea what you're on about, dude. Sorry. Oh, you want the Wrexham changed? I mean, no. Every club has three letters codes for them, and they're the official codes for them. So, people are weird. I don't know, mate. If that's annoying you, then probably best to just watch elsewhere. May I ask what happened to Gakpo over the past 2 weeks? Just Google it. It's easier than me trying to explain it because I don't want to be insensitive about it, and I don't want to talk about something that, you know, is a very sensitive personal thing. Probably that's the best way to say it. Just have a quick Google of it. You know, these are family matters and sensitive matters, and I don't feel comfortable speaking about them in a public forum like that. You know, it's not my space to talk about. Also, very surprised Elliot is still at your club. Yeah, look, that's another one. I guess if I was to start saying the club made a mess of that whole loan thing to Aston Villa with him having to play 10 games before it's triggered, just made a mess for everyone. It made a mess for Elliot because it was a year of his career wasted. It was a mess for Liverpool because it's a year run down on his contract and now he has 1 year to go. So Liverpool have lost value in the player. The player's lost a year of his career. And also, we could have done with Elliott last year the way the season went. So, yeah, that's just another one that I say we can throw at the club and say, what the fuck went on there? Like, it's just not good enough. Craig, watching from Gisborne, New Zealand. Cheers for the commentary. Cheers for having you in, Cop King. Appreciate you, sir. Bransfield. Hey, Craig, I have 2 concerts in mind. Marilyn Manson and My Chemical Romance. Which would you choose? I'd rather stick pins in me balls than listen to My Chemical Romance or Marilyn Manson. I am at the very other end of that. So that's rock music. I'm down here in the techno dance world or hip hop. So not my cup of tea. And I wouldn't go to either of them, even if I got free tickets, free food, a taxi and accommodation. Wouldn't go to either, mate. So maybe somebody else can give you a suggestion, but not for me, neither of them. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you, sir. 19 months as a member as well. Thank you. You read my comment. Thanks, man. Wish you all the best for the season. Thank you. I try to get through as many as I can, you know. Anyone that's kind enough to come in and, you know, try to interact and have a chat with us, I do my best to get to their comment. And thank you. Do I watch any American sports? NFL. That's pretty much it. I don't watch the NBA. Don't watch hockey. But yeah, big fan of the NFL. And I can't wait for the new season to start up. It's a long 5-6 months in between when the season ends in, February, I think. And then the new season in September. Tiger Valley said, man after my own heart. Also into techno, DJ, disco and electronica. Well, I was a DJ in my younger days, you know, and I worked on pirate radio and stuff as well. But my wife would have been more into rock music and stuff, but I was always dance music, rap, hip hop, that kind of stuff. And a little bit of cheesy boy band stuff as well. Who's your right back this season? I don't know yet, is the honest answer, because I don't think we actually have one. You know, we've got Frimpong, who nobody seems to want to use at right back for good reason. Then you've got on top of that, Connor Bradley, who's out injured, and we don't actually even know how long for. Ramsey, you know, I don't know what the manager's thinking there is with Calvin Ramsey, if he's going to be kept around or not, but we need to go and sign one. Am I into darts? Oh God, yes. Yeah, I've got a dartboard set up and all here in the studio. Yeah. My dad was a very good darts player, and I got playing darts when I was a kid. Now I'm not very good. No, I'm not very good at all. But yeah, I love the darts. I think the club owners would love all the games removed from Sky, etc., to be streamed exclusively on their Liverpool channel. Would you prefer that too? I'd rather the Premier League sold it. So I think it was Simon Jordan was the first person I remember bringing this up a few years back. Talked about like eventually getting rid of the likes of Sky and all these other platforms, and the Premier League just selling direct to consumers. Like, imagine if you could pay a subscription to watch every Premier League game, be incredible. And, you know, with the back catalogue as well. I mean, the kind of idea floated around was the whole WWE type thing with all that back catalogue of all the games. So yeah, I'd be all over it if you could do that. Like, it still pisses me off that legally anybody in Ireland and the UK can't watch every Liverpool game, because the 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday, sometimes I get lucky in Ireland and they show one because we don't have the blackout law like they do in the UK. But it's weird knowing that you can't legally watch every one of your team's games. Do I support Mayo? No, I'm from Dublin, mate. So Dublin for me. Brandfield said, now, Craig, if you get free tickets to see any of them, be kind and send them over. I would. Do you know what? Anybody know of anybody who wants to shift a couple of tickets to the United and Leeds United game coming up in Dublin? Not for me, but Adam's father, the young MMA fighter that we sponsor, his father's on the lookout for 2 tickets to go and see the Manchester United Leeds United game in Dublin. So he asked me to have a look out. So I said I'd throw the word out and see if anybody could help him out with some. I know asking this in the Liverpool channel isn't much use, but Liverpool's my wheelhouse, obviously. Hey Craig, I want to start a small Twitter and blog. How would you suggest I start? And do you have any tips for me? I'm not somebody that uses Twitter or X. Our company do. We have a social media guy that runs it for us. Just be consistent and put a bit of your own personality into it, because there's so many aggregator accounts. There's so many great accounts that keep up to date with Liverpool news. So it's difficult to stand out. And I think if you are to stand out, a little bit of humour, put your own twist on it, and a little bit of self-deprecation every now and again doesn't go astray. But definitely give it a go. You know, you don't try, you don't get. So it's always worth having a go. Worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work out. Gave it a try. Maybe you learn something from it that'll help you then with the next one. Where is Anfield Agenda based out of? County Wexford in the southeast of Ireland. Although our company's registered in Dublin. Our company headquarters are registered in Dublin. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the teams are walking out now onto the pitch. Liverpool Wrexham. Liverpool, of course, wearing the new away strip with the red shorts with it for today. Really quickly again, let me take you through the starting 11. It's Georgie Mamardashvili, Kirkez, Soboslai, Elliot Abe, Neoni, Chambers, Ramsey, Scanlon, Kumas and Ndweke. That is the starting 11 tonight. The bench for Liverpool is as follows: Woodman, Davies, Jones, Costas, Frimpong, McConnell, Morrison, Ngamoa, and Dai, Wright and Sonny Lambie. So that's the Liverpool bench today. No Joe Gomez, no Federico Chiesa. Chiesa out with an illness according to the club. Kick-off, I presume, be 12:45. I don't know what it is about America, but they just can't seem to kick off at the time that's ever advertised for any of the football games. I don't know why. So yeah, this one will probably be 5 minutes late or something, but you know, we'll be grand. It's about to start here anyway. The teams are out on the pitch. Darts at Christmas time is a winner. Oh, definitely. And I love the Premier League as well. Love watching the Premier League of darts. Will Liverpool get Barcola? I hope so. I think it's very possible, but I couldn't give you 100% yes, because, you know, it is a transfer market, and if PSG don't back down on the number a little bit and Liverpool don't come up on the number a little bit, who knows? But it's certainly very, very possible, yes. Is Wexford at the beach? It is on the coast, yes. Like, I probably live about 3 kilometres from the beach. How many goals do you think? I don't know. I never really want to look at pre-season from the point of view of the results. You're looking for patterns of play, you're looking for fitness, and most importantly, you're looking for no new injuries. Oh, there's Danny Ward, every Liverpool taxi driver's favourite. Apparently he used to be the one that was giving out team news and stuff. Did you see Newcastle got beat 4-1 by Bristol City? Yep. Look, again, I wouldn't read too much into pre-season. You know, it doesn't really mean anything, but it's still not a great look if you're getting beaten 4-1, yeah. By the way, Wrexham beat Leeds and United. I know, but again, it doesn't really mean that. And even if we are to lose the game, it won't bother me in the slightest. You know, it's all about making sure the lads get their fitness up and we don't pick up any new injury concerns. After that, the results don't really matter. You know, it's never nice to see your team lose, but I'd much rather we lose pre-season games than lose when it actually counts. Where are we at? Daniel, am I listening to Left Wing Atlantic 252 back in the day? Oh, God, Atlantic 252? Yes, love that. Love that back in the day. DLR as well would have been one of the ones for me. Nacho said, has Chambers gone under the radar a little bit? Think a left back by trade, but a genuine option for us, centre back maybe. He's 22, not ahead of the other two youngsters. Well, you are right. It's not a name that we've really heard too much of in recent times, although he was linked to plenty of good loan moves when he was even a little bit younger. And like you said, we get a chance to have a look at him today. It's Ward, Wiener, Scar, Doyle, Thompson, O'Brien, Rathbone, James, Longman, Kaylor Dunn and Smith for Wrexham. That's their starting 11. Why didn't we sign Kvaratskhelia from Napoli? He wanted to go to PSG, and that's the honest answer. They've been working on that deal for a long time, and he really wanted to go there. And you'd have to say, from his perspective, he probably did make a right decision, right? He's won back-to-back Champions Leagues. Right, we're about to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. Second game of the Andoni Iraola era. Liverpool playing from right to left in the first half in their brand new away strip of white with red shorts. And obviously Wrexham in the red strip. Just waiting for the referee to blow the whistle and we're underway. Right, ladies and gents, we are underway and the ball goes straight back to Trey Neone, who passes it back to Ndweke. Chambers now across to Milos Kerkez. Kerkez knocks it upfield. It's cleared by Wrexham. You'd imagine that'd probably be a little bit sharper as well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the championship start a little bit earlier? So they're probably a little bit further along in their fitness. Don't like the logo on the white kits. It's literally Liverpool's old logo. It's a thing of beauty. That's one of the most endearing parts of the kit to me. That and all the stuff around that away kit. I love that crest. I looked up and I swear to God I was about to say Canade on the ball. It was Trey Neone, but I was about to say Canade because he was in the centre-back position and I was like, oh, no, Craig, he's not here anymore. Anyway, Neone, who looks like, by the way, he's taken a bit of a stretch there, Trey. He's looking a fairly big fella now. Certainly not the young gangly kid he was when he first came through and we signed him from, I think, Leicester, if I remember right. Right, back to Ramsey, Neone. Back in there, right side. Elliott was dispossessed. Wrexham in possession now. Inside their own half. Kumas comes on to press. Wrexham go long. It's going to go straight through to Georgie Mamardashvili, though. I really do like that goalkeeper's kit as well. The one that Georgie's wearing. They put the match on the club's channel and then took it away. Well, I don't blame them because you can't have people paying for LFC TV and all red memberships if they're then just going to stick it up on the YouTube channel for free. Like that would certainly annoy a lot of people. Right, Wrexham in down the right hand side here, and Ndweke comes across. As does Kerkez. Wrexham player goes to the ground. Referee says get back up. Ball's now with Dominic Szoboszlai. Rolls it into midfield. A bit of space to Harvey Elliott now. Elliott goes in behind. Abe. Oh, he tries to just flick it past the keeper and yeah, need a little bit more composure, but good movement there from young Joshua Abe. Gets in down the right-hand side. Ball slipped in behind. He's one-on-one with the keeper and he just can't knock it past him. Keeper manages to get a touch on it, but again, bright start there. Good strength from Ndweke. Georgie now passes it out to Neone. Neone back into Dom. Back out to Ramsey. Does anybody know why they didn't actually look at putting it in Fenway? Is there a reason why we weren't playing in Fenway, or... You would have thought with FSG owning the club like that, they'd like to put Liverpool on in Fenway. Cross in from Scanlon, cleared away. Liverpool throw in, left-hand side, halfway inside the Wrexham half. Is Okonwonko in net for Wexford? No, it's Danny Ward in net for Wexford. Wexford for Wrexham, excuse me. Craig, for non-Gaelic football fans, can you explain the Mayo win and how significant it is if you're able to explain it in football terms? So think of 75 years without winning the All-Ireland. That's how big the Mayo win was. And there was a famous curse that was put on them by a priest because they held up a funeral the last time they won. And the priest, apparently, the folklore said that you won't win another All-Ireland until every member of this team has passed away. And I think I'm right in saying 2 years ago, the last member of that old Mayo team passed away. And now they've just won the first All-Ireland in 75 years. So, yeah, it's a long way for the good people of Mayo. And, fair play to them. Fenway is a small park. Other sports can be played. Baseball fields, shapes are just too different. Yeah, it is weird, like I've said, but I don't think Fenway is a big enough field. That could be the case, mate. That could be the case. I know. Do New York City still play at the Yankee Stadium here? I'm not sure if they still do or not. I don't really keep up with the MLS since it moved on to Apple TV. Is there a reason Ndweke has to go out on loan? Yeah, he didn't get enough points for the work permit, apparently. Which, look, it's no biggie. A loan probably would have been the right move there from anyway. And if you're looking at the two young centre-backs, Ndiaye is probably a little bit further along in his development. So if you were keeping one of them, you probably would have kept Ndiaye anyway. Ball switched out left side here. Looking for Scanlon. Goes out, will be a Liverpool throw in halfway inside the Wrexham half. It's been pretty much all Liverpool controlling it so far. Mr. Acentino said they're getting a brand new stadium in Queens. Nice. I don't like multi-use stadiums. I really don't. I do think football clubs should have their own stadiums, even if it's much, much smaller. Well, let me just read this gobshite's comment out. Craig's talking shite once again. Did you not hear the part, you fucking moron, where I said, forgive me if I'm wrong? I'm not the biggest GAA fan, nor did I bring up the subject. So Craig's just not knowing isn't Craig talking shite. So how about you go fuck yourself, Joe, and you can go talk shite wherever you want. But I was asked the question, I tried to answer it to give some context. So fuck you and the arsehole horse you wrote in here on, you absolute prick. I hope that sorts that one out for you. Talking shite. There's only one of us talking shite, mate, and it's the nobody at the other side of the camera there. Forgive me for not being around 75 years ago and knowing what happened, mate. I'm not that old. And why is it again that you absolute gobshites claim to hate me, but yet every time I fart, you're there to smell it? It's weird, isn't it? Like, I hate you, you're a prick, but yeah, here I am on every stream watching you commenting. It's almost as if you're full of shit, isn't it? Like I said to somebody the other day, if you want a pair of me boxer shorts, just ask. I know there's a lot of you freaks out there that want them, so just ask, mate. I'm a giver, I'm here to help out people like yourself who struggle to get a grip on reality. Uncle Craig's here to help. Just ask. Plenty of jocks to go around for everybody, and I'll give you an extra smelly pair as well. Because I know that'll probably get you off, right? Soboslai. What you might as well come in and say is, Craig, I'm so jealous that you have the life I could only dream of from all of your hard work, and I'm just a pathetic little prick sitting on the internet shitting on people because I don't have the balls to give it a go. That's what you meant to say. Because that's what I hear every time I get one of those trolling comments. I wish I could do what you do, Craig, but I don't have the balls to give it a go because I'll just shit on the internet and just give out to people instead because that's about the level I'm at. I get it. I understand it. It does take a special kind of human being to do this. Offside there for Liverpool, trying to slip it into Scanlon down the left-hand side and just went a little bit early. Dun, dun. Almost at the 9-minute mark, ladies and gents, and bright enough start so far from the Reds. Do I have any superstitions before watching a match? Not really, no. No, not really. Sometimes I'll go through a phase where I'll try and talk myself into a particular top or jersey that I wear, being lucky, but I don't really have too many superstitions, no. Can I talk to us about the likes of Alex Scott at Bournemouth? But he improved. Were they academy or brought through? I'm not a Bournemouth player, so you'll have to forgive me. And if I'm saying, I think he came from Bristol, if I'm not mistaken, Alex Scott. But I could be wrong on that. Like I said, I don't remember where Alex Scott came through. Bristol's in my mind, but and Andoni Iraola has improved lots of young players everywhere he's gone, from Rayo Vallecano, obviously, to Bournemouth, and hopefully at Liverpool as well. Abe down the right side does well, cuts back in. Good footwork again from Joshua Abe. Back to Trey Neoni. Trey definitely looks like he's gotten bigger. Like, he looks like a proper man now out there. Was when you first looked at Trey Neoni when he came in from Leicester, he looked like a kid. Now he's filling out a little bit. Whitehammer said, I'm so enjoying watching again. We look so different. We do. We do. We look so much more aggressive and so much more on the front foot. Where was I in this one? CPG KTU. I've done that one. Sorry, I've already gone through that one. Rich Baldy, how are you, bro? Said, is this Wrexham full strength squad? No, I don't think so. Like, this isn't their best 11 on the pitch at the minute, but they should be a bit fitter than us with regards to. I think their season starts a bit earlier. But no, it's not, from my understanding, not their strongest 11 anyway. Pay a Choi said, nothing better than our guy Craig, absolutely roasting a chud in the comments. I saw some videos today about Tomori links, excuse me. Is that true? Somebody asked me that the other day, and I don't know anything about links with us and Tomori. But somebody did mention it the other day. All I can say to you is I don't know anything about it, but somebody's clearly talking about it if a couple of people are bringing it up. So I'll try and find out a little bit more, but at this moment in time, I certainly can't add anything to that. What's Liverpool's starting lineup for the curtain raiser, in your opinion? Good question, Ranjit. I'm going to guess... What will we say? Oh, nearly 1-0 Wrexham there. We managed to get a block in. The position I'm struggling with in my head is right back. That's the one. So I'm going to say Alisson, maybe Curtis Jones at right back, if he's still here, because I think he'd rather use him than Frimpong. Then I think Xhaka, Van Dijk, Kirkes, Gravenberch, Soboslai, Wirtz in the 10. Not sure on the right, maybe Chiesa. Depends. On the left then, Cody, and through the middle, Isak. I don't think we see Rio start the first game of the season. I think he'll probably come off the bench. But that's just a guess at this point, like I said. Gabriel, nice to see you, my man. Said, Craig, great watch along as usual. Forget about the assholes. Who else do you think we're going to try and sign? Lisburn Reds. We need, look, what we need is, we need a winger, a centre-back and a right-back. Then we can make an argument about a utility forward and a few other bits and pieces. But that's before we even get into the fact that we have to build the squad out a little bit. And that's the part that I think is getting lost in this transfer window for lots of us. Like, we're focusing in on the dire need that we have in certain areas, but this window is supposed to be about increasing the squad size and the squad depth, and that's what has me really concerned. Because even if we do get Barcola in and a right back and a centre back, I'm still concerned about the depth, and I still want the futures of the likes of Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, players like that. I want that resolved, and I want a better left back brought in instead of Costas' option. 11 players. I keep saying this. We've 11 players on track to be out of contract in at the end of next season. That's ridiculous. And some of them we're going to have to rely on this year. So we either have to extend them probably more than their value, or you lose them for nothing. I would sell the likes of Gomez and Costas this summer. Elliott, I'd like to see stay, but I think he goes. Wrexham have come into it a bit more here in the last couple of minutes. They're moving the ball around a bit better now. They've had a couple of chances. They're on the attack now down Liverpool's right-hand side. Trainee only steps in though and intercepts that one. Ball's back with Wrexham in midfield. So again, I see a lot of people asking about how to watch the games. The only places I'm aware of to watch the games legally is, of course, LFC TV in the UK and Ireland, and I think in a lot of Europe. All Red as well. And in the United States, I think it's on ESPN Deportes or ESPN Plus or something like that. Irfan, lovely to see you, sir. Hope you're well. Lovely to see you in the chat, my man. Family are all good, thank you, bro. Hope yours are as well. Hamza said, what type of role do you expect Munoz to play this season? Oh, hang on. Georgie does well there. Comes out. I think the offside flag was up anyway. Yeah, it's a really good question, that. I think probably the Chiesa role, but with more minutes, if you get me. So he's probably going to be a utility or backup player. But I think a more impactful one than perhaps we think initially. He's going to be a very good signing, in my opinion. Stan Sport in Australia. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kevin. When do I think the Barcola bid is coming? Do you know, I couldn't say categorically that it hasn't gone in already. Because when we get the reports and we see them into the newspapers and stuff like that, they're usually probably a day or two behind the actual chain of events. So I would say we're very close to the bid if it hasn't gone in. You know, and I've seen lots of things ranging from 100 million with maybe 10 million add-ons. That's where we're at. But just to give you context, I said this earlier on. Last summer, Liverpool were in conversations about Barcola for 75 million and initially didn't do it because didn't want to block the pathway for Rio. And now we're talking about a player who they want 70 million more on top of that for 1 year down the line. So this is why I keep trying to say any idea that transfers are worth kicking down the road a year and waiting for next year is just silly, because it's just going to keep getting more and more expensive, which is why you see the real rush for so many clubs to get the best young talent in, because they're trying to save themselves money in the long term by maybe spending a good chunk of dough now for some of these young talents. Logan said, hey mate, hope you're good. What shirt number is Kumas? 1 second. Let me just go through my list here. 1 second. Kumas is 68. Daniel, I want Ramsey to do well. Just prove a point. Certainly, yeah. Look, I had really high hopes for him. When I remember when we signed him, I was watching some of his clips from Aberdeen and he looked really good. And I thought, okay, this could be a really good right back. So, yeah, I hope he can do well in pre-season. But again, he's another one that I think has a year to go in his deal. Leona, will Bajcetic get a run during pre-season? He's not fit. He's not fit enough, so no, I don't think so. I don't even want to hazard a guess at exactly when he'll be back, but even young Giovanni Leone, we won't have him for the first couple of months of the season as well. Manchester United are champions of the Premier League Summer Series. Yeah, yay, go Man United. Woohoo! Is he 67? I think Connor has the numbers wrong. 67, so that's another Crosby mistake there. And the image he sent me, I think he's corrected it though. On your side, sorry. The image Connor sent me had him as 68, but the one on the screen there, I can actually see as 67, so you're right. My apologies. What's this he's saying? Comments from Iriola, by the way, on LFC TV ahead of the game. We're obviously missing Joe Gomez from the other day. He got injured. We've decided the ones that have just been training, Alex, Flo, Ryan, even Jeremy, to leave them for the next game. I think they'll be involved against Leeds in Chicago. We have to work today with more of the young players. So the comments from the manager. Yeah, sorry. As I said, Connor sent me an image and Kumas was showing a 68 on that image, but on the screen there in front, it's actually 67. So my bad on that one. Sorry about that. Elliot now. Out right side to Ramsey. It's back with Trey Neone. Chambers. Back with Trey. To Milos Kerkez. Matthew said score prediction, Craig. I honestly don't know, bud. It's really difficult to predict pre-season games. You know, all I ever look for in them is hopefully a few more signs of fitness and certainly no new injuries. Jack, hey Craig, not as much as yesterday because I spent it all. Hope you and daughter as well. Much love to you and the fam and this amazing community. Thank you, man. Daughter's okay today, thank you, bro. She's back home and getting some much needed rest. I think she's back in work tomorrow, so appreciate you looking out, man, and much love to you as well, Jack. Amika Dan. And thank you for the help here with the pronunciation, bro. It really does help. Hey, Craig, love the content all the way from Nigeria. Do you know what freaks me out about Nigeria? Is the fact that we're on the same time zone. I remember when I first found that out, it freaked the shit out of me because I was thinking you'd be a few hours ahead of us. But anyway, your comment. Just wanted to say, Ndukwe is pronounced Ndukwe. Thank you, bro. Looking forward to a much better season and keep up the great work. Really, really do appreciate the help on the pronunciation, my friend. Thank you. So let me just have a look again. Ndukwe. Ndukwe. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And thank you for the kind words as well, bro. Ndukwe. 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 Cool. Always help. I am so bad at pronunciations of names, mate. So any help like that really is appreciated. Liz, always lovely to see you, my friend. Good to see your face. Hello, good people. Good to see you as well, Liz, and I hope this summer is treating you well. Craig, if you remember my name from last night, Harvey, if I'm not mistaken, Rook, Harvey, right? Didn't we have the conversation about the dog? Tobago in the house as well. Kyle, how are you, bro? Lovely to have you in. Thank you for your support, mate. Right. Throw into Liverpool, far side of the pitch. We're getting towards the halfway point of the first half in New York. Still Liverpool 0, Wrexham 0. What happened with your daughter? So she fainted yesterday in the kitchen and fell and had a concussion. And after that, it just became a big mess down at the hospital. And yeah. So yeah, that's what happened. She basically fainted and got a concussion. But we're trying to figure out why she fainted, really. Have I heard about the Infantino thing? Yeah, he's a disgrace. That meme guy, he's a disgrace. I hope UEFA pull out of the next World Cup because Infantino needs to be taught a lesson. It's great to see Andy Burnham. I hope the FA grow a backbone as well here and really stand up on this one, as many other FAs have to as well. It's disgusting. He doesn't own the World Cup to start selling it off, first and foremost. They're a non-profit, and football is owned by I think is it 212 or 221 associations that are in FIFA? So Infantino, the greasy fucker, can fuck off being greedy. You know, the prices that they were charging for this summer's World Cup were nothing short of a disgrace anyway. And, you know, the answer isn't always more money in life. That isn't always the answer. Some people need to remember and understand as well that the social impact of football is important and the social good of football is important. It's not all about pound notes. It's not exactly that football short of money in the game anyway. Ramsey fires in a cross, hooked away at the near post by Wrexham. And then Ramsey fouls coming back in. CPG KTU said, thing people need to remember about this game is Wrexham are so far into the pre-season. Yeah, I was saying that earlier on. I'm just having their second game. Exactly. They're a little bit ahead of us because their season starts earlier, but it makes it a more interesting challenge for us though as well, right? ASB, how are you, sir? Said, morning, fella. Just Scotland here. Hope your wee lass is on the mend. Sorry to hear she got hurt. Enjoy the streams. Thank you, my friend. Very, very much appreciated. And much love to you in Scotland as well. FIFA needs to go. Yes, I agree. It's disgusting. You know, when we think about the World Cup, right, and we think about this summer's one as an example, you know, we come from countries here in Ireland or the UK or in Europe where the standard of living or the average wage would be a lot higher than some of the countries that qualified for World Cups, especially countries that are going there for the first time. And to see it made so inaccessible to so many people, it's disgusting. You know, the World Cup should be a festival of football and it should be achievable price-wise for everybody. To see this World Cup hoard out in the way it was by Infantino into this car crash of an event and the whole halftime show and all, it was just disgusting. And same with the whole situation with the hydration breaks and all that. It's just grubby. By the way, Craig, is the Engamoa shirt in the background signed? Yes, it is. We jumped on it straight away because what you'll notice about that shirt in the background is it says Engamoa, whereas now he has Rio when he wears the shirt. And he only wore that for the first game he played in the FA Cup for Liverpool, which is why I jumped on it as soon as I seen it on the collector's corner, because I knew it would be a rare one. But every jersey in the studio here is signed. We've got a Messi one, a Ronaldo one, a Ronaldinho one, a Kaká one, Gerrard one, a Rio one. We've got loads of signed photos that you can't see as well. Another half chance there for Wrexham goes to Began. Lads, I love that goalkeeper's jersey. I love it. Cons from South Africa. How are you, bro? South Africa in the house. Do you know what? South Africa is actually, I think, in the top 5 countries that watch this channel. We went through them the other day, actually. Number 1 on the list is United Kingdom, obviously. Number 2 on the list is the United States. Number 3 is Ireland. I think actually South Africa is even number 4 on the list of countries that we get viewers from here. So always a pleasure to see South African Reds in the chat. Georgie made a good stop there as well a moment ago. Again, half chance really for Wrexham, but it was a steady save from Georgie. So with 27 minutes gone in New York, it is still Liverpool 0, Wrexham 0. A reminder to anyone that's coming in a bit late, no Joe Gomez today, obviously, and also no Fede Chiesa as he has an illness. And loads of empty seats there as well up in the higher stands. I mean, what's the prices for this game? Anybody in the States that was looking at it, and can you tell me what the prices are? Because when I was looking the other day, some of the seats in like the second and third row were $600 and something on StubHub, which is just sickening. Hungary in the house as well. How are you, my friend? Thank you for giving us 2 absolute top players as well, in Dominic Szoboszlai and Milos Kerkez, and obviously Pechi as well coming through. And I really do rate him as a young goalkeeper. He's very good. What happened to Endo? Injury still. Endo was out for the World Cup and that, if you remember. St. Lucia in the house. Nice. We got a bit of Caribbean action. We love that. Welcome in, my friend. There. How are you, sir? $200 for the Chicago game. That's nuts. That's nuts. I'm not surprised there's so many empty seats, and I wouldn't play it. I wouldn't pay that money. No shots yet. There sort of has been. I don't know if it went down as a shot on target, but Joshua Abe was through 1-on-1 with the keeper in the first 5 minutes and forced the keeper into a save. So nearly $200 for a glorified friendly is a disgrace. It is a disgrace. I wouldn't pay it. You know, if Liverpool were playing in Dublin, the most I'd pay to go watch them in a pre-season game is €75-80. How are the Irish clubs doing in the UEFA qualifying? Shamrock Rovers went out on aggregate yesterday from the Champions League, so they'll drop into the third qualifying round of the Europa League. I'm not sure in the Conference League, to be honest with you. I don't remember, but I think Derry City got knocked out as well. Rook said Wrexham, or sorry, I should say Harvey said Wrexham advertising $90, the cheapest ticket for Wrexham versus Sunderland in the pre-season. Barbados in the house as well with Jim Peter. How are you, my man? Welcome in. Folks, if I can ask you a small little favour, if you can't hit that like button for me, I forgot to give you the call to try and get the likes up to 1,000 before the game started. But if you can, hit that like button, and of course, if you haven't subscribed, we'd love you to do that as well. Wrexham on the attack now, down Liverpool's left-hand side. Couple of step overs. Cross in. Well done, Georgie. Comes and claims it. Granada in the house. Nice. So I was lucky enough to be at the Caribbean once on my honeymoon. Well, when was that? 18 years ago? My honeymoon, 19 years ago? We went on a Caribbean cruise, and I was lucky enough to go to Jamaica, Cayman Islands, Labadee Espanol, which is just off Haiti, Cozumel in Mexico, and it was incredible. Incredible. I live opposite Grimsby Town Stadium. They smashed Lincoln 5-1. I paid £12 and I had to cross the road. Boom. Love that. Yes, I'm an American. Shamrock lost to Armenia, an Armenian team. It was a historic win for us. I think we got it back. They got it back to 2-2 on aggregate, and then if I remember correctly, the Armenian side scored around 70 minutes, something like that, to win 3-2 on aggregate. Again, Liverpool trying to play through the middle. That's a foul. Kumas came deep looking for the ball. He was dragged back. Free kick, Liverpool pretty much bang on the halfway line. What's on your bucket list if you could pick one place? Australia. Australia's been, I've been saving to try and go to Australia for my 50th birthday for the last couple of years. Now I'm still just over 5 years away from that one. So Australia's on the bucket list. I hope to get to Asia next year as well. I hope to get over to Japan or somewhere around there. And after that, I'd love a cruise in and around the Norwegian fjords. Alaska, perhaps a cruise somewhere like that at some point in the future. But definitely my dream has always been to do my 50th birthday in Australia for about 6 weeks. That's the dream anyway. And the reason I said 50th is, if I get to 46 even, I will be the first in my immediate lineage in 3 generations to get to 46. My father died at 45. His father died at 37 or 38. So yeah, I'm just hoping I break that little chain of events, shall we say. I turned 45 in September. So, fingers crossed. Iceland for a holiday. So, there's a gentleman called Cop Ice that when I was on Twitter, I used to interact with all the time. And he lives over in Iceland, and he often posts up pictures of his daughter's games when they're playing football and stuff. And the backdrop and the scenery in Iceland just looks incredibly beautiful. Sorry, not been watching in a while. How come we have a new streaming room? We built a studio. Yeah, we built a studio, mate. Finally the channel got to the size where we could actually, afford to give ourselves a proper home. And the room I'm in now is a purpose-built studio where we've got the recording stuff up one end. Down the other end, we've got a dart set up and a treadmill and a few bits and pieces as well. So yeah, just, I can actually move around now and I have a bit of space for once, which is great, having done the first 7 or 8 years in green screen. Hopefully we get some goals soon as well, folks. We're 34 minutes in. No new injury concerns, which is a positive, but no real goal mouth action to speak of. You love Australia, Craig. Our humour is right up your alley. Oh God, I know that. Yeah, if there's two sets of nationalities that love using the C word as much as we do, it's our good friends in Australia and Scotland. You know, we all love the C word together. So I absolutely think I'm going to be in my element in Australia. Yes, I think I'll be having plenty of good swearing back and forth with our Australian friends. Uh, Sean Delaney, how are you, Sean? So, Craig, I was at the Rovers game yesterday. They were brilliant in the first half, and around the 65th minute, Rovers players ran out of energy. That's unfortunate. You know, I always want to see the Irish sides do well, and you know, it's great when you see them get into the league phase of the Conference League or the Europa League. It's just great to see for Irish football. Come to the Faroe Islands; it's beautiful. So the only thing I know, Peter, about the Faroe Islands was when Brian Kerr managed them. You know, he managed Ireland and then he went to manage the Faroe Islands, and he spoke glowingly about the place. Right, Wrexham on the attack, ball pulled back. I think the flag's gone up though. Yeah, flag's gone up. Ball comes back for offside. You got this, Craig. Look after yourself and you'll get the reward / holidays. Stay healthy. Thank you. Well, look, I'm down £37 now. So I don't know if you guys can see any of the weight loss or not. I honestly don't know, and I'm not asking for a pat in the back or anything, but I am down £37 so far. So yeah, getting there bit by bit. But I definitely do want to make sure I'm around for my grandkids and, you know, to have a long life. Come to Spain, please. I'm going to move to Spain, mate. I've been to Spain, and I'm not exaggerating. I've been to Spain probably 35 or 40 times. I go at least once, twice a year. A lot of my relatives have places in Spain as well. And the plan has always been to move and live in Spain. You know, we're looking to try and buy this house, and fingers crossed we can buy it soon. And then we probably will, when my son finishes secondary school, we probably will emigrate and move over to Spain. Kieran said, yes, I can see. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Saw a video from the start of last season and you have. Thank you, mate. Craig, you have any barbecues with that lovely ninja? Yes, we've had a few. I haven't properly had a good go with the smoker yet, but we've definitely had some barbecues with it. It's a really cool machine, to be honest. It is. You must be crazy rich if you travel that much. No, think of it a different way. I don't drink and I don't smoke cigarettes, I mean. So for me, I don't go out, I don't socialise much. So holidays for us are something that we save all year round for. So it's not that we're rich at all. I'm not. I live in a council house, mate. I'm a fairly working class fella. And our channel definitely isn't at a point where I'd say I'm anywhere near rich. But I've always loved to travel. That's something that myself and my wife just love to do. And we don't, you know, it's not usually that fancy or anything like, but you know, we do like to travel, especially when you live in Ireland. You need a little bit of sunshine every now and again. Come to New Zealand. Funny story. I nearly didn't get to meet my wife. My wife's father applied to live and emigrate to New Zealand, but he failed the medical because he lost one eye when he was in the army. So they didn't get the visa to move to New Zealand. So if they had have got that visa, I probably would have never met my wife. You do this channel full time? I do, yeah, I do. This is my second year full time doing it. Elliot, out right hand side, to Naoni. Ball back again with Calvin Ramsey into Harvey Elliott. What part of Spain do you think of moving to? Somewhere in and around kind of Torrevieja, Murcia, Alicante, that kind of area. Actually, the last time we went over, Lee Gunner drove all the way up to meet us from Malaga as well, which was really lovely too. We went and we watched a football match together as well. We went to watch Elche play, and they actually got promoted up to the top tier Spanish football. We're going to Canada in September, and I can't wait. Corner to Wrexham. Yeah, we're going to Canada in September. We're going to Toronto for 4 nights. Then we're doing 3 nights in Ottawa and 3 nights in Niagara. I haven't been to Canada in 21 years now, so can't wait to go back. Can I speak Spanish? No, I wouldn't say speak. I have been trying to learn a little bit, but no, I definitely couldn't hold a conversation or anything. Oh, header straight at Georgie. Why don't you move to Liverpool? I don't know. It's again, if I'm moving out of Ireland, it's probably because I want to move for some better weather. So, like, it's handy to get to Liverpool from here. It's only a 35, 40-minute flight across. Ever thought of traveling to Egypt? Yeah, funny story. The very first time we ended up going to Florida as a family, we had booked to go to Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt, but a war broke out and all the holidays were cancelled. So we ended up going to Florida that year, but supposed to have gone, but haven't thought about going back since. Yeah, I'm sure I will at some point though. Do I play FPL? I do, but badly. Badly. I'm always mid-table merchant in FPL, never anywhere near the top. Scotty said, Craig, I love Torrevieja. My family loves it. Have you been to a place, Lasenia? Oh yeah, I've been to Lasenia Shopping Centre loads. It's brilliant. Yeah, Lasenia is somewhere we go a lot, Scotty. Right, still no goals to speak of, folks. 42 minutes on the clock. Szoboszlai in possession now. Plays it out right-hand side to Ramsey. Again. Szoboszlai. Back to Chambers. He goes out to Kirkes, left side. Kirkes cuts infield. Back to Dom. Out to Joshua Abe. Elliott. Back again to, what was that gentleman said? How to pronounce that name again? Where was our gentleman friend a minute ago from Nigeria that gave me the pronunciation? There he is. It is Ndukwe. Thank you. Ndukwe. Elliott. Oh, I knocked that off. I think I accidentally knocked off. Why isn't that coming back on? Sorry, it accidentally knocked off my super chat yoke. Silly me. Bailey. Hey Craig, been following since 4-3 Barca. You're always been an honest, lovely guy and helped me so much with your streams. You deserve all the success. Thank you for everything you do for the community. Much love. Oh, dude, that's so lovely of you, Bailey. Thank you, mate. Yeah, that was epic. That's still probably one of my favourite streams ever. And it's mad to think that, like, we were, I think, 18,000 subscribers back then, something like that. And here we are now, closing towards 400,000. So, yeah, look, I'm still so blessed, mate, that we've grown to this size, and it still doesn't feel real to me. But, yeah, look, the channel's gone from strength to strength, and I always say the same thing. It's because of you guys. It's not because of me. It's because of the community of people here. And I'm just lucky, to be here with you guys every night. But that's so lovely, Bailey. Thank you, my man. Neoni. Just about at the halfway stage now, ladies and gents. We're into the 45th minute, so... Imagine being so weird that you're putting in fake goal fake goal notifications in a preseason friendly chat. I mean, come on, mate. Be a bit better than that now. Biz from Sydney in Australia. Been watching well over a year. Watch every live. I'd love to catch you in a pub and have a drink with you. Much love, brother. Thank you, bro. Well, look, as I said, I hope to get to Australia in the next few years, and fingers crossed we can have that drink together. Right, it's half time, ladies and gentlemen. Referee has blown his whistle, and not much to write home about in that 45, but it is half time, and it is still Liverpool 0, Wrexham 0. So a reminder as well of what we have on the bench today available to us. It is Woodman, Davies, Jones, Chimikas, Frimpong, McConnell, Morrison, Rio, Ndiaye, Wright and Sonny Lambie. Yeah, Connor's saying fantastic game of football. Definitely worth the late night for everyone, isn't it? Shocking halftime, embarrassing. Look, again, I don't know what people... how do I say this? I don't go into preseason games with expectations of incredible performances or anything. It's about fitness, and that's it, you know. I'll be concerned when we start playing the real games, like when we play against Newcastle the first weekend, then I'll be concerned about the performance. But I think maybe when we get to Como and Monaco, I'll expect a bit better. But for this, I don't mind it as long as we don't pick up any new injuries. Well, I certainly... I don't understand people moaning about preseason performances. It's about fitness, that's it. The poor pitch playing a big factor, said Keane. Yeah, I'm sure it maybe is, but for me, like I said, I just don't want any new injuries. If we can get through any of these games with no new injuries, that's good enough for me. What player are you most concerned about going into the new season? Asks Matthew. Good question, Matthew. Who's most concerning? I'd have to say Isak for a couple of reasons. Isak, because obviously we didn't get the first season that we'd hoped for. And also add in the fact that if he picks up an injury now, we really are in trouble because we've got no Hugo Ekitike for a few months, maybe even 5 months. So Isak would immediately be where my head would go to. On top of that, I won't say I'm worried about this guy, but I'm intrigued to see how Wirtz gets on in year number 2 and under a new head coach. I mean, I don't know who this is aimed at, Jack, because I haven't said one word about anybody, so I don't know what you're giving out to me about it. I haven't complained about anybody out there, mate, so I don't know who that's aimed at. Brian said it's pre-season for the chat too. I said that the other day, Brian, when I finished the watch-along of the first pre-season game, it was a reminder of what a 3-hour stream was like for me, and I went in and joked to my wife afterwards. Yeah, it's pre-season for us as well, you know, trying to get back into the swing of the longer streams. Would rather take Rayan than Barcola. I can see where you're coming from the point of view of he's a naturally right-sided player, but let's be greedy about it. And Rick Mack, excuse me, and try and get both, dude. You know, let's be greedy about it. Like, I'm not going to lie, if there's a window that we end up with Gakpo leaving and Rayan and Barcola coming in, I mean, I'm not going to be displeased about that at all. What do you think is going to be our play of the season? Or player of the season, Jack, is it? Dom. I'm going to make an early show for Dominic Soboslai. I just feel like Dom's set up for a special season. You know, now that the new contract is sorted out, he'll have a more senior role, potentially the vice captain, although that hasn't been confirmed yet. Yeah, so I'm really excited for Dom, and I'm expecting a big season for him. Rayan won't be going because of Krupi, no? No, the Krupi thing is not going to be too long out. And again, one's a centre forward, one's a winger. And I think, 3-4 months probably for the metatarsal. So, look, I honestly don't know. Like, getting Rayan's going to be difficult anyway because, he's only there 6 months. So, and there's no release clause that we can trigger this summer or anything like that. So, it's definitely a difficult deal to do. And I guess I want to touch on the Barcola stuff. If we look at Barcola and you look at what we're willing to pay for Diamonde, who has a hell of a lot less experience, but maybe a higher ceiling, I can understand why Paris Saint-Germain want a premium for Bradley Barcola. Like, logically, if I look at it as a fan and think, well, you've got somebody here that's just won 2 Champions Leagues, that's 23, nearly 24, with a wealth of experience at a top team, in a good national team setup as well, at Lyon before that. I do think he should be valued upwards of 90 million quid, in and around that. But the 145 million, I just think it's a piss take. It's just too much. And I would hope that the compromise can be reached somewhere in the middle. And with Barcola, look, I'll be honest and say he isn't the perfect solution, but he is a far better option than a lot of the names being thrown around. You know, I take Barcola every day of the week over the likes of a Yankuba Minta or somebody like that. But what's winding me up is just, again, how slow we are out of the blocks in the transfer market. 3 weeks till the season starts, and we're a long way from being complete. Are you worried that the high pressing tactics will fatigue our players? Of course, yeah. And that's why I keep saying it is important to make sure that we build a squad out. Because we're coming off a World Cup year where some of the lads will have a shortened holiday. And then you're going straight into another campaign. And it's probably likely to see some more injuries. As you said, fatigue as well, because of the style of the way Areola wants to play. And it's really important that he gets the squad depth, or we're just going to have the same issues that we had last year. Injuries derailing the season and just not enough bodies to cope. Bailey, how are you, man? Thank you for joining Anfield Agenda Ultras. Bailey Cook, appreciate you, mate. Jack said, not you, Craig. People in the chat giving out about young kids and getting fitness. So what I've learned, Jack, over the years doing this is I never tried to second guess the chat, because some people get really worked up about small things. Some people get really worked up about the important things, but I just don't try to judge. All I can say is you're right. I agree. It is just about getting minutes, getting fitness, and giving the lads a chance to show the manager what they can do. So I'm with you. I agree. I didn't know the context of the initial comment, mate. And Bailey as well gifted 5 memberships. Absolute legend, bro. Thank you. Alec, or Alik, who needs sleep when you've got pre-season with Craig? Love that, bro. Love that. And thank you for being here with us as well. I want to go full Jay-Z and say you could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us and I appreciate it. When's Munoz back, Craig? I think, so 3 weeks from the end of the World Cup. So when did the World Cup end? Maybe a week away before he's back, perhaps. I did have a list of all the rough estimate dates for lads to be back, but I think it's about a week. Liz said, it's because of you and Connor, but mainly you, Craig, because Connor's a fraud and you do all the hard work and Connor just swans in for some of the glory occasionally and thinks he's the man. Is that what, am I reading that right, Liz? Jokes. No, thank you, Liz. Yeah, it is because of the hard work that we both put in. Um, but look, it's a labour of love, and I know Connor feels the same way. So it's but if we didn't have the community that we did, Liz, I don't think the whole ecosystem works in the same way. So I think you guys play as much of an important role as we do in it all. Bellingham won't leave Madrid. But did you not see a report today that said his father went at the end of the season and had a meeting and said that his son wanted out? Now, Real Madrid said they're not selling him, you're right, but there was a report today that said exactly that, that his dad, Mark Bellingham, asked to get him a move away. George was the star of this morning's update. Oh, he had his cat with him, did he? Yeah, he's one of those lot, Crosby. He's one of them cat merchants. I'm a dog person myself, so, I leave him to. I'm actually allergic to cats, so. What was that, Craig? You're allergic to pussy? I am. Unfortunately, yes. It's the cross that I bear, and I'm sticking with that story, and that's how the wife will hear it. Dozman, what channel are you watching the game on? LFC TV for me, mate. LFC TV. Now we need to see Harvey as well. Oh, if Harvey came into this studio, it would be like a Tasmanian devil walking in, and there would be smashed stuff everywhere. I don't know if anybody else in the chat has French bulldogs, but Zoomies are real with French bulldogs. They are mad little feckers, and they just. My dog runs from the top of the garden and jumps and uses his head like a battering ram to get in through stuff. He's a lunatic. But I love him to bits. I love him to bits. Has it been a good game or nah? Oh no, it's definitely in the nah category, mate. It hasn't been a great game. It's half time now, but no, it hasn't been a great game. Craig, my whole family is watching you right now. Love from Egypt. Love to yourself and the family, Yusuf Hassan, mate. Thank you for tuning in, and much love to you and your family, sir. I hope you're all well. Charlie said, hey LFC family, just wanted to say the kid's not looking bad on the terrible pitch. Looking forward to watching more of the first team in the second half. And by the way, RIP Glenn Hansard, absolute legend. I couldn't agree more, Charlie. We talked about it earlier on. This is actually a true story, right? When I woke up today, I have a routine every day. I check my emails, I check Sky Sports News, I check a couple of apps on my phone, and then I usually end up on the Journal app. So I open up the Journal, and I see a picture of Glenn Hansard, and I said to myself, I swear to God, at this moment, I don't want to read below the picture, because I just had an eerie feeling that because this picture of Glenn Hansard was at the top of the stories, that it wasn't going to be good. So then obviously I read that he'd passed away in a motorcycle accident, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, because a better kind-hearted Irish troubadour you wouldn't find. Just one of life's good guys, and nobody has a bad word to say about the man, and just so sad. So sad. He does so much good in the music community, in the social justice community, fighting against homelessness. It was heartbreaking to hear of Glenn's passing today, and just reading through all the comment sections and stuff like that, it's the same thing. People just in shock. He was so loved in this country, and rightly so. Can you say hi to my girlfriend, Alondra? Of course I can. How are you? Thank you both for watching. Toronto in the house. How are we, Josh? Can't wait to get to Toronto, mate. Really looking forward to my visit. Where do you think Jude will go, and which team? Well, Real Madrid said they're not selling him, so, it looks like he's staying there. But if he did leave, who'd have the money? You'd probably be looking Premier League, wouldn't you? Because, maybe... Actually, it would probably have to be Premier League. I don't see any other league that would have the money to tempt them. Greetings from Chania, Crete Craig. Wonderful show. Thank you. I worked over in Crete for a summer. I worked in Kelly's Irish Bar. So in Hersonesus, which was an experience. But yeah, I first went to Greece on my end of school exams. We went over to Crete for 2 weeks. But yeah, how are you? And nice to have you in. The last time I saw Glenn was a Shane's funeral. He's loved here, Liverpool. He's absolutely loved. Yeah, he's just, whether you knew him from the commitments as Outspan, whether you then knew him from winning the Oscar with that wonderful song Falling Slowly. Just one of the good guys, like, just such a shame. Jack said Carlo for Sam. Now, come on now. Come on. Let's be realistic now, Shane. That's not happening, is it? Or Jack, excuse me, Jack. I don't know why I said Shane. So used to bantering Shane from Kerry about the Gaelic football. Kira Barwick said, love watching your lives. Thank you. Appreciate your support. How much is Barcola worth? I think he's worth 90 million, but I think we'll end up having to pay probably 20 more than that. That's my take. You cracked me up and made my day with your dog story. Oh, he's a lunatic, but I love him to bits. He's an absolute nut job. My wife just can't understand because I treat him better than myself. I just love him. He's just the best thing. I just love my French Bulldog Harvey. Like, he's my little dude. Right, second half, folks, getting underway soon. Jude would be great for Liverpool. I know, and I thought we had a really, really good chance of getting him all the way back when, but Mr. A. Santino said, I appreciate Connor's wit and sarcasm in the early morning videos. The one where he's asking if anybody has news had me dying of laughter. Great stuff. Yeah, it's great. I love seeing Connor come out of a shell like that over the course of the last year or two and, show everybody else what I get to see of Connor. This, as you said, great sense of humour, a very smart, intelligent young man. And, yeah, I wouldn't want to be doing this with anybody else. Right, folks, let's get ready for the second half. No, Haley, I'm not getting a top knock. God, that haunted me, that picture, mate. Right, we're about to get underway. Second half, we'll take you through the change lineup now as well. Now Connor will be working away hard in the background to get the teams changed over. So as soon as we get all the information, we will, of course, change it for you. Right, we're still waiting for the referee here to blow the whistle. In your own time, ref. Whenever you want there, mate. Don't worry about us. It's not like it's late or anything. We're still waiting. Right, we're underway for the second half. As I said, we'll take you through all the changes as and when we get them. Wrexham immediately on the attack. Deep cross in. Goes all the way through to the back post. Oh, that could have and probably should have been 1-0 Wrexham. Ball played through to the back post. Wrexham player comes in late. I think, is it Longman? And puts it wide. But, yeah, I mean, fucking shaky that from Costas. Costas does not fill me full of confidence, lads. Kieran said, hey Craig, how are you, mate? Love the shirt. Thank you. First time I've ever worn this top, actually. And yeah, it's nice. I like it. I got it in the sale at the end of the season. Ian said, I lost my dog Jed 3 years ago. He's my best friend and I miss him so much. A collie spaniel. Still can't bring myself to get another dog. How do you replace perfection? Yeah, we had an overlap of about a year between our last dog Gizmo that passed away and getting Harvey. And yeah, I get you, my man. It's tough. It's tough saying goodbye. So Jones is on anyway. And Duque still on. Right, so second half, Jones, Ngamoa, Morrison and Costas replace Naomi, Scamlin, Abe and Kirkes. So they're the changes that we have so far. So once again, Curtis Jones, Rio Ngamoa, Kieran Morrison and Costas replace Naomi, Scanlon, Abe and Kirkes. Soboslai. Good to see Dom and that start to get about 60 minutes in their legs now as well. Build up that fitness. And Duque plays it forward. The Soboslai. Here comes Costas now. Slips the ball in. Kumas gets a shot away, but it's blocked by the Wrexham defender. Second ball is back to Dom. He has a strike. Ooh, again, it takes a nick and goes behind for Liverpool corner. Far more intent here at the start of the second half. First shot from Kumas was blocked. It comes back out then to Dominic Soboslai. He gets it out of his feet and has a strike towards goal, but the Wrexham defender puts his head in the way, knocks it over his crossbar, and it'll be a Liverpool corner. I will get to that super chat, Colin, in 1 second, sir. Let me just deal with this corner. Right, so Dom to swing it in from the right-hand side. Ball drilled in deep and low. Goes all the way through on the far side. Another cross in deep. Headed away by Wrexham, and then they finish it by putting it out for a Liverpool throw-in. Right, Colin Super Chat. Apologies, mate, if you've already said this, but no Chiesa, he's ill. Well, that's the line from the club anyway, Collins, that he's ill. Even after he just came out saying he'd fight for his spot, do you know what's up? Yeah, illness is what was being reported anyway by the club, mate. So yes, Rio on the right here for the second half, which is interesting. As somebody in the chat just said there, Rio on the right. And Morrison, I think, on the left-hand side. Don't forget, the Reds' last game of the US tour is this Sunday at 9 p.m. against Leeds in Chicago. Jones gives it away in midfield. Wrexham shifted out right-hand side. Press comes on from Soboslai, who does well to win the ball back. Can't quite keep his footing then. Ball ricochets though. Liverpool still in possession with Kumas. To Elliott. Oh, Elliott forces keeper into a save down to his right-hand side. Probably should have been the first one of the day, that one. Did I just see somebody say, please, Liverpool, I just put my whole paycheck on this game? Well, you're a lunatic. Let me say that. Betting on pre-season, that's madman stuff altogether, mate. That's, God almighty. I wouldn't be putting any money on any pre-season games. Somebody saying Dom injured. No, he's not injured. He's grand. He's running around there now. Liverpool free kick, which Dom is going to take. No, he's not. He pushes it back and gives it to Chambers. Indukwa. Ramsey. Out to Rio. Look, handful of the jersey there, ref. And Rio still turns him inside out. Good man, Rio. To Elliott. Ramsey. Jones now. Have I baptised the new studio with a hot box? No, I haven't. That's not in the work environment space now. Toshkop, nice jersey, Craig. Did you buy it from the site? I did. I bought it in the end of season sale, actually. I think it's still available now on sale. I think, I don't remember what I paid for it, but I think it was like €42, €44, something like that. Right. Wrexham playing the ball out, and it's straight to Costas, who wins it back with a high press for Liverpool. Ball across, cleared again by Wrexham, but good front foot football there from Costas, stepping up to win the ball high up the pitch. Do you think Ramsey can play a role this season? He might have to, but again, the interesting thing, and I'm not 100% certain on this, but I think he's one of the players who has 1 year to go on his deal. So what do you do there as well? Like, if you keep him this season, you probably have to look at extending him. Nadette, thank you. Or Nadator, excuse me, my friend. Thank you for the kind words, mate, about the daughter. Appreciate you. And yes, I am definitely worried about the lack of squad depth. Jones. Out to Rio, right-hand side. Ball to Elliott. Elliott tries a little flick that doesn't come off then. And Wrexham have it back. Costas. Back to Dom. Morrison. To Chambers. Back to Dominic Szoboszlai. He goes out left side to Kieran Morrison. He drifts in field, gives it back to Dom. To Jones. Jones out to Calvin Ramsey. To Rio. I tell you what, Rio looks all right coming in off the right. I say that just as he gives it away, but he doesn't look too phased being out there on the right-hand side. Throw into Liverpool. Back with Curtis Jones. Chambers. Indukwa. Back to Chambers again. Into Harvey Elliott. Ramsey. Again, Wrexham sitting quite deep here, and Liverpool looking to draw them out a little bit by playing the ball around the back. Elliott. Rio. He's dispossessed. Wrexham then play a ball in behind, but there's too much on it, and it rolls harmlessly through to Georgie. Out to Costas. Free kick to Liverpool. He was dragged back. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Still scoreless. Jones tries to slip a ball in behind to Rio, but it's overhit and it goes harmlessly behind then for a goal kick to Wrexham. Do you think we can sign Barcola from PSG? I do, yes. Now, I'm not saying it's a done deal or anything like it, but it's certainly credible, and he's open to the move. You know, Liverpool just have to get a deal agreed then with PSG, but, you know, easier said than done. But I keep wanting to remind people, we painted ourselves into this corner by letting Salah go a year early. And it pisses me off still that we did that without having a solution ready to go. Mr. H and friends, how are you, sir? Nice to see you in. Do we look like scoring? We look far more likely in the second half than we did in the first half. Like, we've already probably created a few better opportunities than we did in the first half. So I'm saying, yeah, we look a little bit more likely to. Should we get rid of Maka? I wouldn't be looking to get rid of him, but, you know, this is probably the summer where a decision does have to be made, because you either have to extend him because he's in that 2 year to go bracket, or you look at selling him. I wouldn't be rushing to get rid of Maka. Oh, Dom. Unlucky. Dom forces a save from the keeper with a strike from the edge of the box, but it's pretty much straight at Danny Ward. Again, good play by Morrison, who cut inside, then played it into Dom, but the shot was easy for Danny Ward to save. Right, folks, again, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. If you're new to the channel, welcome along. I won't have a live stream tomorrow night because I'm out for dinner with the family, but Connor will be here with a video in the morning. I'll be here then about 5 o'clock, and we'll have a late video at about 10 p.m. tomorrow night. And then we'll be back to live streams on Friday. Why have the talks about Núñez gone quiet? Because he's shite. I hope I've answered your question. That's the answer. He's nowhere near good enough. Wasn't good enough when he was here, and we got rid of him. And he still isn't good enough now. And even on a free transfer, nobody's exactly queuing up to sign him because, and I can't emphasise this enough, he's not very good. And anybody suggesting we bring him back, I mean, do you not remember the frustration that we had with him? Even though there were some good moments and stuff, he's not the solution. No matter what the question is, he's not the solution. That Ward from us. Yeah, that was the same one, my man. That was the same one. Made by Dave. That was Danny Ward. Do I think Henderson to Chelsea is a good transfer? I mean, I can understand it. I can understand it from the experience perspective, yeah. Like, Chelsea would have a very young squad. So I can see that Alonso going in there, looking at Welbeck, looking at Henderson, you know, good lads to have in and around the club, setting the standards. Lots of reports suggested today that Liverpool were offered the opportunity to bring Henderson back and didn't want to take it up. Can't speak to why or even if they're true. Why did Salah leave a year early? Because our club, in their infinite wisdom, decided, for whatever reason, to allow Mo to leave a year early, to rip up his contract, and I don't know. You know, the thing I'd like to know, Petter, is, did they do that thinking they were keeping Arne Slot, and with Salah making it clear he doesn't want to play for him? Or did they know he was on the way out, Slot, and still were happy to let him go? But either way, it's a piss take. You know, how many players are we going to keep letting go and not replace at the club? We've let Canade go and haven't brought in his replacement yet. You know, Robbo's gone, and we've got Costas, who's not as good as Robbo. And we've so many players. We went through a list the other day of players that have left in the last 5 years or something. Let me see if I can find the list for you, because it's a scandalous list. Is it this one? Yeah, so Anfield Edition posted this the other day, and all of these players have left since 2020. Now, these aren't the only players that have left, but with all of these players, Canade, Salah, Robbo, Trent, Firmino, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Milner, Origi, Karius, Wijnaldum, Lallana and Klein, for all of those leaving Liverpool, they got 10 million quid. Our contract situation's been a piss take for the last 3-4 years. The amount of players that we're letting run down their deals and leave for little money or no money. Nunes was good. No, he wasn't. He was shit. Like, let's not lie. He did some good things. He's a professional footballer, he should do. But he wasn't good enough. And trying to reinvent the wheel and lie about it is just not right. There's no way he should be near the club. His arrogance and his bullshit at Aston Villa, not clapping the away fans, the petulant childish shit, taking down stuff off social media. No, he made his bed, he ran to Saudi, couldn't even get into the team in Al Hilal, got booted out of that team in the league when they brought in Benzema, and now he's been let go. So he's not good enough. And look at the World Cup he had as well with Uruguay. He was horrendous. Right, here comes some more changes. Ramsey and Costas. That's a weird one. Costas? No, he's not going off, surely. He's just getting a drink, yeah. I was thinking that Costas running across and Nunes is far better than Gakpo. Fuck off. That's just bollocks. That's absolute bollocks. I'm sorry. I don't know you, Mark. I don't mean to have a go at you, but that's absolute garbage. There's not one manager in football that thinks Gakpo isn't better than Nunes. That's absolute nonsense. Imagine saying that with a straight face. That Darwin Núñez is better than Gakpo. Come on. One of them will go for about 85 million quid if he moves this summer. And the other one can't get a free transfer anywhere. Would I have Trent back? I have to say, I'm really bitter about the Trent thing. I have to say I am. And the reason I'd say I wouldn't have him back is because the only way you'd get him back is by paying a substantial transfer fee. Poll, I don't need a poll. Darwin's shit. End of poll. There is no poll to be had. He's shit. End of conversation. You know, he's looking at maybe getting a move to the MLS. That's the level he's at, because Al Hilal are happy to rip up the 58 million they paid from and throw it in the bin. So there's no need for a poll. The answer is that he's not very good and Gakpo's better. What was I doing before that? I can't remember where I was before that. Sorry. Oh, Trent. Yes, sorry. Yeah, the problem with Trent I'd have is mostly that you'd have to pay a substantial fee, and he left for pretty much nothing. So it would kill me to see Liverpool pay a substantial transfer fee to get Trent back. You can always get past the if he apologised and all that shit, but to see Liverpool pay a fee for a player that walked out the door for nothing, that just break my heart. So someone saying Gakpo is horribly bad. Yeah, but he's still better than Darwin. I'm not trying to say to you that Gakpo's a better footballer than Rio Ngamoa or Isak or Wirtz, but he's better than Darwin. And again, look at the very obvious examples. Darwin's available on a free now and nobody wants him. If Cody Gakpo was available for 60 million quid, there'd be a queue of clubs to sign him tomorrow. So that's the answer, you know. If you want to live in a land of delusion about Darwin, crack on. But, you know, reality is reality. And the reality is that he's just not as good as he could have been. Because I will be the first one to admit to you, he's got all the attributes. He's got pace, he's got power. But he just doesn't have the composure and he just doesn't have the temperament. So How has Rio been on the right? Okay, but again, this if I'm being critical, and I don't like to be critical of the younger lads, but you would still have to say that Rio is taking too much out of the ball. He needs to be releasing it a little bit earlier. Oh, good shot, and a good save from Woodman. Strike from distance from Wrexham. Woodman's going across to... Oh, it's Georgie. I thought he changed it. Sorry. I thought Woodman had come on. Georgie goes across to his left-hand side and makes a big save. And again, we've got Frimpong on now playing right back as well. He came on a few minutes ago. Another shot from Wrexham. This one's over Georgie's crossbar. Yeah, that's the thing with Rio is I still think he's taking too much out of the ball. It kind of reminds me of when Curtis Jones was coming through. Prime Darwin was built different. Yeah, those 5 minutes were fucking extraordinary. Like, if you could relive those 5 minutes of Prime Darwin up at Newcastle, incredible. But the thing that angers me most about Darwin is, like we've said, all the attributes are there. All of them. He's just a player that isn't able to put it all together consistently. And that's what makes it more infuriating. Because like you've all said, you know, handful, runs the channel, strength, but just not the composure and the temperament really at the very top. And that is a crying shame because he had the potential to be something special. In your opinion, was Alisson bad last season? No, I don't think so. You know, we had a lot of injuries last season, but I never think of Alisson as having been bad since he played for Liverpool, ever. Frimpong, back to Rio, to Dom, to Curtis Jones, back out to Frimpong, to Rio. He's dispossessed then on the edge of the box. I know people are going to probably disagree with me about this, but I'm going to give you my honest view. I don't think Rio's ready to start week in, week out yet in the Premier League. Now, I do think he will be an infinitely better footballer than Cody Gakpo, but you'd have to say the defensive stuff, taking too much out of the ball, there are still some things there that, understandably, because he's a youngster, needs time to develop. And like I've always tried to say, I want him to develop at a pace that's realistic, and rather than to be thrown in to be a solution or to have to be a hero, I want him to have the next 12 months to be bedded in bit by bit, which is why it's so imperative that we do go out and get some more pace. What would you guys think about Rio's development and where he's at right now? Because there's no denying the dude is lightning in a bottle. Like, he's got so many tricks and so much good points, but you know, there's still things that he's just not at the level that it need to be just yet. But again, totally understandable because we're talking about a 17-year-old fella. Like, I think he's ready to get better by playing games. Yeah, and Iriola will certainly improve lots of attributes of Rio's. Misty said, I completely agree, Craig. Rio will be a baller, but throwing him in right now is suicidal for his career. I just think we've done this too often in recent years that either necessity or injuries have meant that we've had to almost push youngsters to the fore, sometimes a little bit earlier than they're ready for. And I don't want Rio to turn into a Saka where he's picking up hamstring injuries when he's 25 and, you know, missing months here and there. I'd like him to be brought in, not because the club are cheap and don't want to bring in other players, but when Andoni actually thinks he's ready to be coming and playing week in and week out. Blue Razzle said, cracking player who's ready for first team football. Not sure if he's ready to start consistently, but if he does start at least half the games, it'll accelerate his development. That's fair. Yeah, I think that's more than fair, mate. I agree with you about starting Rio. Where were you? Sorry, I missed one of your comments. Where is it? Sorry, something jumped a bit there. Was it this one? Nope, it's a different one. Where's the comment I was reading now? This one, sorry. I agree about Rio. I think he's gotten a little too confident. He's a great dribbler, but realistically, playing simple football is the most important. It is, and like I said, it kind of gives me an air of when Jones broke through at underage level, where he was clearly the dominant player, clearly the give me the ball, I'll make it happen guy, much like Rio. And look, I have to underline the fact that we are talking about somebody who's really, really young here, so they shouldn't be the finished article, and there will always be things they need to develop on. And I know the temptation's there to throw him in early and make sure, you get him game time and all this, but sometimes I think you do have to be mindful of his development. Ben said Rio should be coming off the bench with 30, 35 minutes left, maybe start one in every 3. I would agree with that, mate, yes. And hopefully in games where as well we're up in the games and he's not having to come in to be a difference maker and he can build that confidence naturally. Julio Cesar said, agree about Rio, Craig. Just goes to show you that passing the eye test is not enough. Decision making and product consistently and poise will get you further. Yes, I think so. And look, he will get there. My goodness, when we're talking 2-3 years down the line, no doubt we'll be looking at a far different player. Craig, love your videos. I was just wondering what your thoughts are on playing Rio on the left and Barcola Rio on the right and Barcola on the left. If we make a deal, would you rather Gakpo and sign Rayan? I'd rather we sell Gakpo and sign Rayan and Barcola, yes. That would be incredible. And that would be a big, big upgrade. Rio on the right, you can see he's been looked at here. So that might give us a bit of an indication about maybe what Andoni's thinking early in the season. Excuse me. And you also heard Rio say the other day that, he's happy to play on the right-hand side. Gary said, I think he needs to learn to pass a little more. I think that's fair as well. But again, when we're saying these things, Gary, we're not saying them to be critical of him because, like I said, as a youngster, he shouldn't be the finished product. But these are things that I'm sure will be worked on. And one thing I'll say about Rio coming back for this season is he looks like he's filled out and gotten bigger as well. Would you compare Salah to Messi, Ronaldo and Zidane? No. Probably just in the tier below. Here's Rio now. Strike, loops up and it's in. 1-0. Rio has a shot. It takes a nick off the leg of the defender, loops up over Danny Ward and into the back of the net. And it is Liverpool that find the breakthrough. And it is Rio that gets himself a goal. Off the right-hand side as well. It's actually not Danny Ward that's in goal anymore. They've changed the keeper, but Rio comes in. Curtis Jones is in now just talking to him about a couple of bits and pieces as well. But get the ball in midfield. It comes to Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai rolls it into Rio. Rio gets his head down, runs through the middle of 2 defenders, couple of step overs, has a shot and nicks off the defender's leg, loops up over the top of the keeper. There's nothing he can do about it and it just thankfully drops into the net and it's 1-0 to the Reds. All that talk about Rio when he scores. Regular viewers of the channel will know this, but that's something that actually happens quite regularly. We'll be talking about a player either critically or in some way, and then all of a sudden, bang, the lad goes and scores. Right, here comes Sonny Lambie on now as well. Dominic Szoboszlai's after getting a good 75 minutes, which is great to see. Georgie's gone off as well, so I think, is it Woodman that's coming on for him? No, it's Davies that's coming on. So it's Davies that's coming on in goal for the last 15. And then I think it was Sonny Lambie that came on. Chambers gone off there as well. Good minutes in their legs though. Will Wright came on there as well, actually. Good to see Will Wright get a few more minutes. So we'll get confirmation of those substitutes. But Harvey Davies came on for Georgie Mamardashvili. McConnell, I think, came on there as well, if I'm not mistaken. Will Wright. So here we go. Yeah, Luke Chambers, Soboslai, Mamardashvili off, Davies, Sonny Lambie, and Ndai on. Who'll we have in the starting 11 as right wing against Newcastle? Rio ain't a right winger, nor should start every game. Keep up the good work, mate. It's a good question. And I don't know the answer at this moment in time. Is it Chiesa? Will maybe Victor Munoz come in, prove his fitness, and please the manager? I don't really know is the honest answer who's going to start on the right yet. Ligety said thoughts about Wirtz this season, that he needs to step up, but I'm excited to see him under Andoni Iraola, and I hope that he can finally show what we know he's capable of. How are we looking so far? Just coming in, nice one, Rio. It's not been the most entertaining game, to be honest, mate, but it's about getting fitness in, and again, this is good minutes for these young lads, because we'll have some more of the senior players back for the game against Leeds at the weekend. So, this is a real chance for these lads to impress Andoni and maybe put themselves in his thinking for the season ahead. Why such a late game? Just part of the United States tour of pre-season, my man. This is the latest one, though. The game on Sunday is much earlier. It's a 9 p.m. kickoff. So, Wrexham corner here, and then I'll get to the Irish Wanderers comment there. I hope you're well, my friend. Right, anyway, corner to Wrexham. Big key for Moore in there as well. Who's Frimpong marking there with his Rodri impression with his shorts? Corner in from Wrexham. It's deep. Headed over the bar. Got a free header there in the end, but it's over the bar. Right, Irish Wanderer said, good morning from Thailand, my friend. Nice to see you on my time. Just hit 8 a.m. here. Time for work, but have you on in the background? Well, safe travels to work, my friend, and thank you for dropping in as always. Appreciate you. I hope life's treating you well over there in Thailand. Rich Baldy. Did winning the league with Slot hurt us long term? It's a tough one, isn't it, to figure out, Rich, because you'd never say you don't want to win the league, so that was always a lovely bonus, but it is a real noodle scratcher why we went with a different style in season 2, and with the caliber of players that we brought in, we all thought we were going to push on at that point, so it is a weird one. It just is, because I'll never know why he went to the way he played in season 2. It just doesn't make any sense that he went so conservative and so I don't want to say lazy, but it wasn't us. It wasn't our identity, and it looked so unbalanced over the whole campaign. Because if you want to control the games like that, well, you have to do something with the ball. You can't just have the ball and think you're controlling the game. And we weren't moving it quick enough to break down low blocks. We weren't creating enough overloads. It was just all so boring and direct at times sometimes as well, with Virgil just pinning diags and trying to win second balls. None of it was right. Would you get rid of Gomez at this stage with his injuries? I would, for the very simple fact that he's got 1 year to go, and if we don't sell him now, the options are let him go for nothing next year, give him a new deal, and I'd rather we get some money from now and then go and get another centre back. Ball in, and Frimpong does well putting it behind at the far post, as there was a Wrexham player coming in late, and Frimpong comes across, puts it behind, it'll be another corner to Wrexham. Gary said, taking about somebody work for Gome. I don't know what that means, Gary, mate. Sorry, you've lost me on that one, bro. Another corner here to Wrexham. Frimpong brings it away, but unfortunately can't keep it in, and it goes out for a throw in to Wrexham. Where are we at? So, Gary, let me have another go at this one, mate. Was it wishful thinking about Gomez or something like that? You know, he was close to joining AC Milan at one point. I don't know. I just think these are players we should be moving on, getting some money in for, and then looking to build again. Because we can't kick the can down the road a year, let them go for free, and then hear that we haven't got the money to bring in replacements. Craig, I think the two lads have done well at the back, considering they were thrown together at the last minute with no senior defender guiding them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Chambers hasn't put a foot wrong. Ndai has come on as well, and he's looked very good in the couple of games I've seen him. And obviously, Ndukwa, as the gentleman correctly pointed out, I was mispronouncing. Yeah, absolutely. Really, really promising signs for the future. And it just is a bit of a piss take, though, that we don't have enough centre-backs. Rich said I would argue that the whole Prem was boring last year. They definitely let too much of the physical stuff go, Rich, and it became a very disjointed season with not a lot of free-flowing football in it, and it was almost too regimented, unlucky. Cross in there, and was it Will Wright? It was Will Wright coming in, and the ball just goes over his head. I think it comes off a Wrexham player and goes behind. Let's have a look at it. Cross in from Costas. Will Wright gets up well, goes over him, and then the Wrexham defender heads it behind. Could have gone anywhere, that one, but it will be a Liverpool corner. If Spurs went down, do you think we get Van de Ven? I think we might have had a look, Paul. You know, certainly would have been worth a look. Corner in, cleared away. Wrexham now trying to counter. Ball played in behind. Jeremy Frimpong steps across, covers, and the ball gets kept in, actually. He does well to keep it in. Sonny Lambie now. Out to Rio. Gary said, sorry, I wish our thing of talking about somebody worked for Gomez scoring a goal. Oh, yes, Gary, yeah. Yeah, it'll be criminal, won't it, if we don't see a Joe Gomez goal for Liverpool in competitive action before he moves on. Totally with you on that one, Gary. Right, Jones now. Just under 6 minutes to go. Liverpool leading by a goal to nil. That goal comes via Rio Ngamoa. Jones. Morrison. Ndai. McConnell now. Out left side to Costas. Oh, lovely turn that, James. Lovely turn. Tries to thread it through then to Will Wright, but we have it back now with Sonny Lambie. And Ndukwa. Rio. Frimpong plays it a little bit behind Rio, but Rio manages to keep possession. Back out to Jeremy. Sonny Lambie. Oh, he tried to switch it out to Costas, but it rebounded back off a Wrexham player, and it is still with Liverpool. Curtis Jones. Out to Rio. Back to Jones. I wonder what happens with Curtis, actually, because again, you know, if we don't extend him, he's either leaving for free in a year or we have to sell him this summer. Rich Baldy said Iriola could be a dream coach for the group we have. I agree, Rich. It's I'm really excited under Andoni, and that's why I'm so adamant we need to get him the players he needs, because if a manager fails because his tactics or his formations or whatever aren't working out, fair enough. But if he's failing or doesn't have the season we hope for because he's understaffed, that's a different conversation, isn't it? So I'm with you, Rich. I really like him, and I like the style of football we're going to play. I like the way he coaches. I like the stuff we're seeing on the training ground. The vibe around the club looks positive. How did Abe get on? So he did all right, Maggie. He probably should have scored in the opening 5 minutes. The good run in behind, he was slipped in. He was one-on-one with the keeper who made a save. But again, promising for somebody so young. And I don't think we're going to really see Joshua Abe in and around the first team properly this season. But no doubt he's a huge talent. Why is Soboslai gone off? It's nothing to do with injury now. It's just 75 minutes. In pre-season, that's quite a few minutes. So he did well to get up to 75. But that's why. It was nothing to do with injury. It was just he got a full 75 in, and that's enough at this stage. Wrexham now on the attack. Down there right. Ball played in. And Kiefer Moore shits the bed. Probably should have been 1-1 there. Ball was pulled back to Kiefer Moore. He's coming in and around the 6-yard box. Left foot makes connection but lifts it over the bar. Frimpong was out of position. The ball's played in behind him then, and that's a problem with Jeremy. Maybe it bobbles up. Maybe I'm a little bit unkind to Kiefer Moore, but yeah, he kind of catches it on the rise and he lifts it over the bar. Silly Session said, who do you see as our main striker, Ekitike or Isak? It has to be Isak because of the transfer fee, but if both were fit right now, I'd be looking to start Ekitike because I think he's earned that spot. But you have to hope that your £125 million striker comes good. So I'd say he's probably the number one. Certainly with Hugo being out injured for the first few months of the season, expectation will be there for Isak to step up. Slot would have lost this kind of game last year. Maybe, but it's pre-season. The results don't really matter. I'd take losing every game in pre-season if it meant that the lads picked up no injuries, got their fitness up and got off to a good start in the league. What do you think about our white kit? I much prefer it with the red shorts than some of the images I've seen with the white shorts. It's nice. It's very, very tidy kit. I love the goalkeeper's kit that goes along with this one. I think it's gorgeous. So, ladies and gents, we're about to go into the final minute of normal time here in New York. It's still Liverpool 1, Wrexham 0. Did I bet money on this? No. God, no. I'd never be betting on a pre-season game. Would I be happy with a poor man's treble? Pre-season tournament win, FA Cup and Carabao Cup? I mean, yes. If we ended the season with an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup and got Champions League football, that goes down as a good season for me. Especially in the manager's first one. Good ball across the front of the 6-yard box there. Will Wright threw himself at it, but just couldn't get the connection. Now it's with Rio, a couple of step overs, and then he's dispossessed. We're almost at the 90 minutes now. Wrexham trying to find one last attack before this game's up. Craig, last season we lacked a right back and a centre back depth due to injuries and a bad transfer window. What's your thoughts going forward with the back four? We're in a worse position, Rich, is my thoughts. We've let Canade go, haven't replaced them. I view Xhaka as the Matip replacement. Still no right back sorted out, mate. So 2 minutes added on here at the end of the game. So I think I think crisis is probably the fair word, Rich, to describe the lack of depth at the back. And there's no excuse for it, mate. There's none. The club know this and have plenty of time to sort it out. And here we are again, trying to condense everything into a hectic last few weeks. Under Andoni Iraola, do you think we can win the league? I hope so, but I think it would be unfair of me to say yes or no either way this early. I never thought we'd have won it year one with Slot, and we managed to do it, but I don't know, hopefully we win some silverware under Iraola's reign. Another ball in behind here for Wrexham. Kiefer Moore gets a shot away, it's blocked, ricochets out. Wrexham still have it. We're into the second of the 2 minutes added on now. Wrexham pushing, still looking for an equaliser. Cross in. Costas defends it, puts it out, and it'll be a Wrexham throw in on the far side. What's that? Costas is a downgrade to Robbo. Agree, Shay. And it's a piss take that we're being asked to even accept that as a club. Like, we downgraded again. And they do this over and over again. And it really annoys me, Shay, that the club tried to pawn off players that just aren't up to the standard. Right, final act here be a free kick to Wrexham, wide right. One last chance to get a cross into the box. If Liverpool clear this one, you would say it's job done. And the cross is deep to the back post. It's nodded down, but it's outside the Liverpool penalty area. And that is that, ladies and gents. The referee puts the whistle to his lips and it finishes in New York. Liverpool 1, Wrexham 0. 2 from 2 in pre-season for Andoni Iraola. It wasn't the greatest of occasions, was it? But look, hopefully no new injury concerns. And when we play Leeds at the weekend, we will have some more of the senior players back as well. So, you know, fingers crossed. But well done to Rio Ngamoa. Got himself on the score sheet. And, you know, hopefully we'll hear from Andoni Iraola that there's no new injury concerns or anything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, again, appreciate you all. Thank you so much for coming in. If you can, hit that subscribe button for me before you head off. Rich said, this season, I just want us to be hard to beat. As long as we put in the hard work, I'd be okay with no silverware. Just want to see effort and unity. And Champions League football, Rich. We've got to get Champions League football as well. But I'm with you, mate. You know, I'm trying to be realistic in what I'm expecting this season. But as long as we're better on the eye than last year, that'll do. Ladies and gents, an absolute pleasure. Connor will be here in the morning with an update. I'll be here with a couple of videos tomorrow. There won't be a live stream tomorrow night. As I said, I'm out for dinner with the family. But we'll see you back here Friday for a Late Night Agenda 100 as well. Thank you all so much for staying up late with me. Appreciate you. And enjoy the rest of your night, if indeed there's any of your night left. And I will see you guys back here tomorrow. Thank you so much for your support. We'll see you then.